the beginning, there was nothing. And then there was the Drunken Peasants Podcast.
I gotta get a witness. No!
Say, man, you got a joint? No, not on me, man.
I don't have facts to back this up.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
That's true. Sometimes I cry.
Oh!
Lick my butthole, he laughed.
From the strangest corners of the internet, here to bring you opinions of the world from an altered perspective. Here are your hosts, the Drunken Peasants.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Drunken Peasants Podcast. This is episode 1244. And we're back again for another exciting edition of our Tuesday show. And we've got Billy the Fridge back again, and we got Mike from the Humanist Report. Welcome back, Mike.
Hey, good to be back. Long time no see, but always happy to kick it with you both.
Yeah,
it's always a good time. And I think, Mike, you're one of our most esteemed guests.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Well, that makes me feel good because I have never viewed myself as esteemed anything. But
thank
you so much.
Thank you for throwing a morsel to us, the little guys, from time to time. Since you're a YouTube sensation now.
I mean,
now
look,
that I've dubbed you esteemed, you should dub yourself self-esteemed.
Yeah, that's helping. I think we're not there yet, but
Get there.
Yeah, I wasn't it like a few months ago you were just having some crazy YouTube troubles where they demonetized you, right?
Yeah, it was a nightmare. What happened was I left my multi-channel network, which was TYT, and I didn't know that if you leave your MCN, you automatically have to reapply for monetization. I didn't think you'd have to do that because I was a partner before I joined them. So yeah, usually it takes like 7 days at most. I've spoken to other people and they're like, oh, it's only going to take like 2 days. So I wouldn't sweat it. It took over a month. So it actually felt like the channel was being killed off. And through that time, the ad revenue, that was something that I could absorb. Like losing a month of income hurts, but I have been doing this long enough to where I've saved up, enough money to kind of, I guess, deal with that for a couple of months if I need to. Don't want to tap into the savings, but I can for a few months. But the problem was that it was hurting long-term revenue because it was killing off memberships. So each day that I wasn't monetized, that a membership was set to renew, it would just automatically get canceled. So I'm thinking, so what's going to happen long term? Like, am I going to be able to pay the bills? Like, what the fuck is happening? And finally, a bunch of other big YouTubers helped me when I made a fuss about this. They put me in contact with a really good YouTube rep, and it got sorted out once I got in contact with him in 2 days, which was a huge relief. So, yeah. Was
it unclear whether or not they were going to even monetize you again at all?
It was unclear because one thing that they tell you is that if it takes longer than 30 days, that's usually an indication that something went wrong and they're passing you through a different person. I mean, that's not always the case, but from my understanding, usually it's relatively quick, but if it takes longer than 30 days, they're just, something's up. So we were at that stage where it's like, okay, it's a month and a week-ish and something definitely is up. I mean, it's possible that it was just taking longer than usual, but there was an indication that there was something seriously wrong. So I was worried, like, well, what do I have to do? I mean, obviously my channel is ad friendly. I mean, I curse, but they said that that's okay. So I kind of went through and looked at my old content, remove any swear words from the thumbnail, even censored swear words. I just wasn't sure. I'm like, okay, so what's going on here? So I'm like, okay, this is a very like politically charged channel. So it's got to be that like the person who is reviewing me just doesn't like what I have to say. Because, I mean, sure, they have to be objective, right? But at the same time, they could say, yeah, fuck this guy. I hate him. Yeah. Also, there's a million different clauses in TOS that they could find that I'm in violation of. So I got a little bit conspiratorial, as I was getting desperate. But it was a nightmare. And I'm so glad that shit is over now because that was very stressful.
I hate how they don't just lay out exactly what you need to do.
They have a Russell Brand thing in there now.
Yeah. That's the thing, is that I was completely in the dark, and the only people that I had access to were the folks at the like basic level of creator support who don't know anything, right? Like, I had people looking into it, and they just gave me the same answers that you get when you look up the Q&A page. So it's not really that helpful. Bless their hearts, they were like, "Oh, well, I'll pray for you. Good luck."
Yeah,
it's like, thanks so fucking much.
They should be able to be like, we take this issue with your channel, fix this, and you can get monetized or whatever, if that's the case. And meanwhile, I'm seeing them making it easier for people to get monetized. And as you know, we cover some unsavory people on the show sometimes. There's this one guy we've been covering for years. He's not a nice guy at all. And he magically got monetized with only having like 500 subscribers. After having several channels terminated in the past, and he got monetized. So it's just craziness.
Yeah, it's very, very weird.
Yeah.
And what's especially strange is that about a month after I got monetization back, I applied for monetization on my second channel, and it took like a week. So I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry, our donations will.
I'm glad that's behind you.
Yeah.
I'm not able to see the stuff on the screen. Is that normal, or will
is it not sharing?
Am I doing something wrong? It's not sharing.
It should be sharing.
I'll unshare and reshare it.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not sure.
That should come back in full now. Are we lucky? Do we see it?
I don't see it yet. No. Is there something I have to do on my end, I wonder? If not, I could just listen and pretend like I see. As long as the connection is clear, right?
Yeah, we see you well, but we got to get you on here so you can comment with us. That's important.
Right.
Yeah.
So is there something that you do, Billy, on your end to see it? Like, do you click on anything, or?
I never click anything. No, it always comes right up for me, and it's up right now.
Okay. So
yeah, I can see it just fine. So
okay.
Do you think it's possible that you might have an outdated version of Skype that you're using, Mike?
Yes, very possible.
Ooh, do we have an update time?
I don't.
Should we?
I don't know if that's the problem, though. I mean, like,
okay,
he could try leaving the call and entering again. Tech support the show.
I guess we could just have a nice
problem with me.
Well. Don't feel that way. You're one of our most esteemed guests.
What was
we're the problem children.
Well, before there was an audio issue, wasn't there? Was it like an OBS issue? And I was stuttering or you all were stuttering. I'm not sure. Yeah. I bring the problems with me, man.
Everything's coming through fine though. Like your video and your audio looks good. If you want to like hit the red button to hang up and then come back in, maybe that'll fix it. Or you can close the whole app and reopen it. You can update it too if you want. It doesn't take that long, but
okay, maybe I'll do that real quick and just come back in.
Yeah, no problem.
We're only at the beginning.
Yes,
yeah, okay.
Everything's good.
All right,
no worries.
I'll be right back.
Yes,
we will be getting Mike back in a moment. Everybody, aka Big Figs.
Figs.
Everybody in the chat. Everyone in the chat loving Big Figs tonight.
Sometimes people
much appreciated.
Sometimes people, when they come on, they're not used to like the TTS, and they're always kind of like, "What's going on?" Like some people don't even know what's going on. I feel like I should warn them before every show. Like if we have a guest that's not used to it,
you could.
Yeah. Sometimes I forget.
Those rascally donos.
No, I mean I'm not complaining.
Sometimes our audience forgets to donate too, though. So it's not the worst thing in the world.
No, that's an even bigger problem. Quick reminder, everybody.
As long as the audience doesn't forget to dono.
Quick reminder, everybody. We've still got 2 private shows and our movie review coming up before the end of the month. If you sign up, you can get that. Also, we have these. We have these stickers still available that I'm about to show you on the screen. I'm fumbling my screens around. The stickers right here. These are stickers available for, it's a special gift provided to you, free of shipping and handling. For all of our $33.33 patrons, you get all the benefits for all of the perks below that. Just sign up now, anytime before the end of the month, to get the classic DP sticker. Mike is back.
I'm back and I can see.
Yay!
There we go.
Yes.
Amazing.
That worked. Okay. Everything is copacetic now. The update was really quick, and yeah, I guess that did it. So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm impressed with
You
myself.
think they're gonna put now that you were able to game the system and get a hold of a YouTube representative and get your account back in 2 days? You think maybe they'll add like a super chat option where you can super chat YouTube and they'll get you somebody like on the line immediately, like a $100 dono? Wouldn't that be a good reward for one of their workers to talk to you if you gave them $100?
I mean, I was so distraught that I would have paid money. Like I would have paid to get in contact with them.
Hope you sweet boys are doing well. And have y'all seen the Sturgis and Kindle meltdowns? They're hilarious.
No. I had no idea there were meltdowns. Please send them to me in the content section on our Discord.
One thing that kind of sucks is that the YouTube rep that I got in contact with stayed in contact with me. Well, that's the good part. But I had reached out to them on behalf of other smaller YouTubers as well who were having issues, and they helped fix that. Yeah. But they just retired. They just went to they just left. So now I have no contact.
Oh, they retired? They got tired of doing all the hookups.
Yeah,
yeah. So we're retiring.
Like, okay, I told you could keep in touch, but you're kind of abusing that now. So but yeah, so I guess the
you think they're gonna up? Do they have a terms of service for what happened to Russell Brand? Is there a written out version of that? I feel like without him being like he's accused, but without him actually being a criminal, it gets dangerous for a lot of people now with terms of service, right? If you can just get knocked off on accusations.
Here's one thing that I'll tell you. So a couple of months ago, they demonetized Matt Walsh. He admitted that he was making like $100,000 per month, and they demonetized him because his transphobia was, it was really explicit. And he complained about it. He made this whole big thing about it, said he was moving to Rumble or Twitter or whatever. Months later, YouTube gave him monetization back. So this is a PR move from YouTube. I guarantee you that in a couple of months, Russell Brand will have monetization back. YouTube, they see that he has, 5, 6, 7 million subscribers. Ultimately, they're not going to want to lose that gravy train. They want the money. And that was one thing that kind of kept me going as well when I was demonetized. It was like, okay, I'm making them money, not like the most money ever, but they'd have no reason if they want to make money to deplatform me permanently, right? Yeah. So, and if YouTube was serious, there's a lot of channels that they would purge. Over the years, they've tried to change this, but there's still a lot of Nazi channels on YouTube. So I don't think that this is going to be permanent. Although, I wish it were, because honestly, fuck Russell Brand. But he's going to get his monetization back. So that's my prediction anyway.
Yeah. I didn't know Matt Walsh got his back. I didn't know Matt Walsh lost his. I don't pay attention to Matt Walsh. I don't like Matt Walsh.
You're probably mentally much healthier than I for not paying attention to him. So that's a good decision.
I did see his little baby doll toy thing he had.
That was weird.
Baby doll.
Yeah, I don't understand what that's about. There's been people making fun of him for years now, wondering what the fuck is with the baby thing, because you claim that you are trying to protect kids and you think that queer people are all grooming children, but you have this creepy baby of you in a diaper conspicuously behind you. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and they sell it as merch. It's so strange. Who would want a baby doll that looks like Matt Walsh? I don't know.
It's the most cursed thing ever, because if you're trying to get merch of yourself, if you're a political commentator, I genuinely can't understand why any political commentator would want a plush to begin with of themselves. It's not outrageous, right? But not only that, though, he takes it a step further. It's no, I want a plush of me as a baby in a diaper.
Yeah.
Mentally,
with a
what's
beard.
going on? We need to evaluate
the beard and the glasses still too.
Yeah. What's funny is that you mentioned beard and glasses. There's a running joke on my channel that I'm like the left version of Matt Walsh. My hair is shorter now than it usually is, but when it's grown out and I kind of like have the same hairstyle, I look kind of like, a better alpha version of Matt Walsh. She looks like the beta wish.com version of Humanist Report. But the glasses and the beard, I understand it.
It's like you're the mirror version of Matt Walsh. Like the mirror universe. Like in Star Trek, there was a mirror universe where they would go and there was all like evil versions of themselves there.
Yeah.
So he's like
my Waluigi.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It's creepy, terrible person. I'm sure that one day the allegations will come out against him, and that will be the least surprising thing ever. Like there's certain people where based on like what they say, you can't really pick up on anything, but you just get like a certain vibe from them. Like when I saw the Russell Brand allegations, I'm like, oh, I mean, this is the least surprising news ever. The same is going to be true with Russell Brand. Like save this clip right now and come back. When the allegations come out for something, I don't know what, but like it's not going to be surprising. Like it's going to be creepiness of some sort, like some sexual impropriety, right? Because these people, they all like, I don't know what it is. Like I can't explain it. I get this bad vibe from him. Like something is fucked up. I think that part of it is the whole like, I don't know. There's this thing about like evangelicals where when I was growing up, at least, a bunch of evangelicals who would, talk about all these things, abortion being bad, gay people being bad, they'd always have some sort of skeletons in their closet. Like the biggest one when I was growing up was Ted Haggard, where he was very anti-gay, and then he was caught doing or snorting coke off of like a gay prostitute's ass or something.
Yeah.
And so you just kind of expect now, like he could paint his nails pink and put on a wig and do drag, and I would think that makes him less gay than him just like talking about politics, because that is kind of like the biggest tell for me.
Yeah, I could only imagine like what Matt. I mean, there's always elements to one's personality that they don't put out there. So I'm wondering like what it might not even be something like scandalous that Matt Walsh is into. It might just be something like that would be distasteful to the people on his side of it that he's probably been hiding. Maybe he like dressed in drag when he was a teenager or something like that. Who knows?
It's something like that, right?
Yeah.
All of these hypocrites, they always end up getting exposed. Like we saw just this last week with Lauren Boebert. She was jerking off her date in a fucking theater. Like this is what family values Christian.
That's fine. You should be able to jerk off anybody in a theater. If I'm not going to chastise her for
especially
that,
yourself. R.I.P. Pee Wee Herman.
Pee Wee Herman was a good dude. Let my man live.
He got charged for something for doing that, right? For doing the same thing.
Yeah, he was jerking off in a theater,
jerking
but it was
himself
a porno
off
theater.
In a porno theater where people go to do that stuff.
Does anyone expect Lauren Boebert to face like any repercussions for getting caught? I mean,
I don't think she should. Like, I don't think she should. Like, was she doing it in front of people? Was she like showing it off to people, or was she doing it with people around?
Well, here's why I think
there were people around.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the theater is ages 10 plus, right? So it's plausible that there were some kids in the vicinity. And on top of that, like she wants, like this is somebody who wants to jail drag queens. Things, she's tweeted, "Take your kids to church, not drag shows," and shit like that.
Was the dick out of the pants? Was it above the pants or under?
It wasn't above the pants. Yeah, it was above the pants.
And they got kicked out, right?
It was just a little fondling.
Yeah, she was also. She was vaping and like blowing it on the people in front of her, and then the pregnant woman behind her was like, "Can you stop vaping?" And she like got into, I guess, a spat with the pregnant woman. These people are fucking wild. I swear to God. Like,
you know what the craziest thing to come out of the Lauren Boebert stuff is now? People are making like sexy AI photos of Lauren Boebert, and I'm like,
no.
Yeah, see.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it.
See?
Oh, God.
People were posting these on Twitter, and I was like, what the hell is wrong? This is the one that actually looks the most like her. The other ones look kind of weird, but that actually in the face looks like her.
I support over the pants hand stuff If the dick wasn't out, I don't see the problem.
I do love it though. Like it is my favorite story of the week. I guess it's a story from last week, but when I talked about it on my show, I was just kind of like getting the responses from conservative women who were like, this is terrible. Like, you're making us look hypocritical. And they're true. Like, they're correct about that, right? Like, if you're a family values politician, then of course you should at least adhere to the standards that you want to impose on all of us. But they can't even do that.
Never do, though. They never do.
Exactly. Yeah. But, you know,
and I wish these lefties that want to push socialism would give me some money.
So, lesson be learned to everyone who goes to a movie theater: there are cameras in there, and they do have night vision, because that's what happened here.
That's what's so fucking funny about this, is that before she knew that there was security camera footage, she straight up denied it. She denied that she was vaping. And she instructed her campaign manager to release this defiant statement. Like, yeah, of course she likes to see the theaters because she supports the arts. Gasp. Like, making it seem like, they were very incredulous. And then the news dropped that they saw everything. Really high quality night vision cameras, and saw her doing the HJ. And then she's like, well, she had to release a news statement. This is, part of difficulty dealing with a divorce, and I have a very sometimes I have a very loud personality. It's like, oh, so now you're changing your tune when you were like pretending like, oh, I'm being persecuted because I'm a conservative, because that she was on OAN or Newsmax, one of the two far right networks. Yeah. And the host was like, no, you know what I think is happening is that they saw you're in a liberal city in Colorado. They said, hey, there's a conservative, and then they targeted you. And no.
All she wanted to do is jerk off her boyfriend. She was trying to jerk off the guy she was. I think if you're in a theater and you're not shaking it in front of somebody, if the dick's out, like, you better have a blanket over your lap or something. Like, you can't have the dick out in public. Can't have the titty out in public. I would, because I'm a sicko. I'm a sex pervert. I'm the type of person that reads to kids at libraries. I'm that guy. I think Laura Boebert should go read to kids at the libraries now that she's a sex pervert.
Did you call her Boebert?
That's what sex perverts do. Laura Boebert. I was reading what Revolting Machine typed in the chat because I had forgotten her name.
You know what's funny about the story is that the guy who she's with, she has since broken it off with him. That was their first date, mind you.
No.
Serious question. Lauren Boebert.
He owns.
Would you?
Would I vote for her? No. No. Would I have sex with her in a public place while watching Beetlejuice? Yes.
But unfortunately, that's not going to be possible now, because after this guy, she's done with libs. So he owns a gay bar. This guy was a lib?
He owns a gay bar?
He owns a gay bar that hosts drag shows to make things even funnier.
What?
And yeah. And so she's broken it off with him. So she was interviewed by TMZ, and she's like, well, I've learned my lesson to never date a liberal. Like, it's as if like you only jerked him off because he's liberal, and you like, I don't know, honey potted you into jerking him off. I just genuinely don't understand the logic.
If he was conservative, she would have thrown him in the theater. We know that. She was holding back with the over the pants HJ.
Wasn't there rumors about her being a call girl or something at one point too?
There was actually evidence released by the same PAC that ousted Madison Cawthorn, that dug up all of that. Although she never, she contested it and it didn't really go further, didn't hurt her campaign. But they're still out there. And like the PAC, I can't remember, maybe it's American Muckrakers. They were like, if you think that this is defamation, sue us. Sue us. We're willing to go through the process. Discovery is not going to be good for you. So they seem relatively confident. Although, it's not proven. But there's some evidence.
Sure, and it's weird that the way she got into politics is she owned a restaurant where you could bring a gun in and the staff like open carried. That was her foot in the door into becoming like a member of the federal government. What is that show? What does that say about some of our voting base in the country where that's that nice woman that will let me bring a gun into her restaurant? Okay. How did that happen?
Yeah, it's very bizarre, and I feel like you could probably bring a gun into a lot of restaurants across the country, but they just chose to like really pander to conservatives about it. I just feel like that's not a good business decision because, I mean, do you really want 50% of the country to be like automatically turned off? Like this is a MAGA restaurant. Like it just, I don't know, it's weird. But again, this is the people who constituents love to vote for. Although I will say this though, she basically almost lost. She won by 551 votes, and she has a net like 11 unfavorability in her district. So odds are this is going to hurt her even more. Because I mean, if you have a bunch of people in your district galvanized because you're just this like evangelical, and then this comes out, and you're already unfavorable. Already they didn't turn out for you in a red district. You know, it's not looking good. And the problem with this is that, like before, there were polls indicating that she was kind of in danger, but she is a very, very prolific fundraiser. She raises a lot of money. So the question
I wonder
is,
how.
I don't know. Can she still secure those big GOP donors if now she's no longer like this evangelical icon? Because she was one of the two people, along with Marjorie Greene, saying she was a Christian nationalist. So like, how can you still claim to be a Christian nationalist and you want to impose like Christian laws on all of us and Christian standards on us if you don't even follow them?
If they'll vote for Trump, wasn't what he was doing like he worse?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was never into Christianity until he got into politics. You never saw Trump go, oh, this is the church Trump goes to. That wasn't a thing.
Yeah. Here's what I think it is. This is my speculation. I think that the women in the MAGA sphere probably don't have as much leeway as the guys. Like Trump is a different beast. He can do whatever he wants, right? He could fucking suck off somebody in a theater and nobody would give a shit. But like, well, maybe they'd give a shit in that instance, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like he can do whatever he wants, but the women, they don't really have as much pull. And I think it kind of goes back to that like traditional values, the quote unquote traditional values, you know, where the women aren't necessarily supposed to be the leaders, you know, it's supposed to be the guys. So there might be a little bit of misogyny at play, but we'll see, right? We'll see if she gets away with it.
Yeah.
I hope she gets away with it. To be honest, I don't want a Republican more equipped than being able to carry a gun. That's all I want them to be able to do. I don't need another Mitch McConnell who's going to use every last trick in the book until his freaking brain dies.
Yeah.
They literally wanted to make like a conservative Hooters. So they just called it Shooters. And it was like an all-female wait staff, and they'd open carry, they'd have like a gun on their hip while they were serving you food.
Yeah, it was stupid. It was stupid when they started putting these in on college campuses because they called it school shooters. And I thought that was a little fucked up.
Shooters on campus?
I didn't like the idea, but they got good wings, I heard.
Shooters at the student union?
I didn't think it was a great idea.
I don't know. I don't know if you have heard the story about the Shooters restaurant, but they catered an event, and the details are like, it's been a while since I talked about this, but everyone at the event that she catered got diarrhea and got really sick because like it was really low quality food standards. I think that whatever they brought wasn't like correct temperature, and I mean like if you're dealing with food, that can happen. It's from a while ago. If you look it up, you can find it though. If anyone is interested, it's not surprising honestly. And again, if you want more lore on Lauren Boebert. When she was dating her now ex-husband, he was 24, she was 17, I believe, at the time, and he exposed himself to a minor in a bowling alley. And again, this is the anti-groomer lady, so this is just par for the course for the Republican Party. But yet, like a big scandal is fucking John Fetterman wearing basketball shorts to the Senate floor. That's where they draw the fucking line. It's so ridiculous.
Maybe we should start calling her Auntie Groomer. Instead of anti-groomer, Auntie Groomer.
I think that'd be more appropriate.
And all of her husbands can be Uncle Touchy. Auntie Groomer and Uncle Touchy.
Mike, have you heard about this story out of Seattle about the body cam footage of the cop in his car? I don't know if you've covered it on your channel yet.
Yeah, I haven't covered it, but I watched a couple of news reports on this, and
This
it's
is so vile.
So insane.
Yeah, they've had a few protests in downtown Seattle over this. Here's the clip. And actually, here it is.
Outrage is growing following the release of police body cam video. In it, an officer appears to be joking about a student killed after she was hit by a Seattle police cruiser. Tonight, what her family is now saying. Steve Patterson reports.
But she is dead. Tonight, anger simmering in Seattle over what appears to be an officer's callous laughter in a disregard for human life. Seattle police releasing body cam video of Officer Daniel Otterer, who appears to be making light of the death of John V. Kandula hours after she was struck and killed by another officer's squad car in January.
I think she went up on the hood, hit the windshield, then when he hit the brakes, flew off the car.
Kandula, a 23-year-old grad student, was crossing the street when she was struck by a patrol car, reportedly going more than 60 in a 25-mile-an-hour zone, responding to a call.
Jesus.
Yeah, that definitely should not happen. Like, I don't know.
I think that's the most. I think cops hitting people is the most cop deaths, right? Cops speeding and killing pedestrians or killing people in accidents, accidental deaths.
Well, that's why they banned police chases in Washington State. I don't know if they still are, but for the longest time, there was like a non-pursuit. Basically, unless they were like shooting at people, if you were not to pursue. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I couldn't imagine just crossing the street and on like a 25-mile-an-hour road and getting hit at that kind of speed. I wonder if he didn't have his siren on. Maybe he just had his lights on. I don't know how you could miss that.
Does not seem like there's a criminal investigation going on.
Otterer, who serves as vice president of the Seattle Police Officers Guild, was on the phone with Guild President Mike Salon, recorded on body cam. Only Otterer's portion of the call is audible, but later he appears to joke about settling with the victim's family.
Yeah, just write a check. Yeah, $11,000. She was 26 anyway. She had limited value.
I was appalled. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Anger, rage.
That's the vice president. He was the
vice president of the police guild. That's like their union, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the vice president
talking to the president of the police officers guild.
Wonder what Kamala says to Biden all the time behind our backs.
Yeah, he. Like once he realized that his body camera was on when this conversation was being recorded, straight up turned it off immediately. I didn't intend to have it turned on. And I don't know if they'll get to that in this clip, but he tried to justify his comments saying that, oh, when I said she was a low value person, I was making fun of the attorneys. It's like, motherfucker, you literally said she's dead and then laughed.
Yeah, I have a clip where he tries to tell his side that I'll play next. First of all, cops shouldn't be able to turn off their body cams. Like,
right?
Why can they turn it
immediately?
Right.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Emotions.
Seattle police say the video was discovered by an employee who became concerned after hearing the audio and flagged it to department.
You know what? There was another thing where the Seattle police had a fake tombstone in one of their offices. It was a fake tombstone that someone made for someone that they had killed like a year or two prior to that.
Jesus.
Yeah.
They're all sociopaths. Every single fucking one of them. It's insane to me.
Brass. In a statement, the family says every human life is invaluable and should not be belittled, especially during a tragic loss. Otterer and the Seattle Police Guild have yet to respond to our request for comment. SPD's Accountability Office is investigating the body cam to see if any policies were violated. Separately, King County's prosecuting office is reviewing the crash itself.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated.
Hey, I love the Humanist report guy. He's one of the good ones fighting the good fight. You're also exposing the often hilarious nonsense of the right. Keep up the good work and keep it real.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, here's the story I was talking about. The Seattle police chief addresses the video of fake tombstone at East Precinct. But it's a totally different story. But yeah, they have a history of like kind of laughing off the deaths of civilians. It's pretty interesting.
It was a 19-year-old boy on the tombstone named Demarius Butts.
Yes. Yep.
Jesus. Yeah, this is why, like, when they come up with these excuses, I just don't believe them. And I think that a really good default position is to just assume that every cop is lying as soon as they open their mouths, because that's almost always the case.
There's no law that they have to tell you the truth when they're like investigating. They don't have to be truthful about why they're talking to you or what they're even doing.
Right.
The one thing you got to remember is if you have a high enough IQ, you can outsmart the police officers. They're all very stupid. But if you're also stupid, don't even try, because they have guns.
Right. Reminds me of I've been rewatching Trailer Park Boys, and the character Ricky always like tries to talk himself out of the situation. Like, hey, I wasn't speeding. I was just I was trying to catch this guy for you guys. I'm undercover or something stupid like that. But
a cop literally every single one.
Yes.
Here's a video where the cop in the body cam video is trying to tell his side of the story. Here it is.
There's growing outrage today over a cop who laughs while talking about the death of a grad student who was run over by a patrol car.
She is dead.
Body cam video shows the cop, Daniel Orderer, laughing it up during a call with the president of the Seattle Police Union.
Yeah, just write a check. Yeah, $11,000. She was 26 anyway. She had limited value.
He's talking about
that wouldn't even cover her student debt.
Northeastern University student John V. Kandula, who was mowed down by a patrol car driven by another cop speeding at 74 miles per hour to an emergency call. Orderer, who is vice president of the police union, seems to minimize the tragedy.
I don't think she was thrown 40 feet either. I think she went up on the hood, hit the windshield, then when he hit the brakes, flew off the car. But she is dead.
Is he myth busting over here? Why does he care how far she was thrown?
And by the way, this is a day after the incident happened. So, I mean, it just happened and he's laughing about it. It genuinely is so nauseating.
Cops are appalled.
That's why he's the vice president.
Victim and her family that they're going to see and hear this video of them talking about their loved one like she's a piece of trash. What kind of person could laugh about somebody being hit and put a dollar amount on their life?
What do we want? Justice!
Last night, protesters called for the laughing cop to be fired. But Officer Orderer says he was not being callous, just talking about how city lawyers would treat the case. I understand that if a citizen were to hear it, they would rightfully believe I was being insensitive. The comment was not made with malice or a hard heart. Quite the opposite.
I got a problem to tell you here, buddy. If you think there was no malice or hard heart there, then you're fucking jaded. And you have a bigger problem. You shouldn't be at the VP. If you think the lawyers are going to write an $11,000 check and clean this up, then we're gonna have to write a bigger check and clean up the whole fucking system. And thank you for leaving your cam on, Deputy Dumb Shit. Because you leaving your fucking cam on gives us enough artillery here to hopefully start a movement that moves. Can we get a movement that actually moves, guys? We keep starting movements. They don't do shit. They just swirl around. They spiral until everybody goes to sleep. This needs to be the beginning of something. What the fuck?
Yeah. That's the thing that keeps happening. Like we keep seeing these huge viral stories, and then there's outrage, and then nothing happens. I mean, they're literally building fucking Cop City right now in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And like that is, if you've looked into that at all, it is the most dystopian thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
We have a friend that lives over near it.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah, our friend Hannibal lives right by it in Atlanta.
That's horrifying.
Yeah.
And because you know it's not just. I mean, that in and of itself is horrifying. If there's one Cop City, but you know there's going to be Cop City 2, Cop City 3 once this one gets built, which is why I think it's so important that they resist it. And shout out to everyone who's doing that. I was listening to a Law and Crime report about this, and they said that the cop they used the word inadvertently turned on his body cam. So like he accidentally incriminated himself by turning on his body cam when he didn't intend to, which is just, it goes back to the whole thing. Like, why even have the fucking body cams if they turn them off all the time? Like they turn them off and then they commit police brutality, and then they turn it back on. What is the fucking point? It should be an automatic termination.
They should have like if your gun is on you, the camera has to be on. Like if your gun is on your persons, if you check the gun out, the camera turns on the second you check your fucking gun out of the lockbox.
I think they should just have it on as soon as they clock in. Like you just have to have it on.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck. With the statistics surrounding like domestic abuse for cops, we should probably have cameras on them at all times. They should have no civil fucking liberties.
Like, they'll argue that they should be able to turn the cameras off when they're using the restroom, but I disagree. Their dicks aren't big enough to show up on camera anyways.
Yeah, I mean, like, if anything from the video needs to be redacted, it can just be edited after the fact. They don't need to kill the camera stream for any reason, really. So I've seen lots of videos where cops pull over other cops who are like off duty and drunk, and the cop who gets pulled over is like trying to like signal to them to like turn off their camera so that they're not like filmed, so that they can like talk about it with the camera not there. So maybe that does happen, and we don't hear about the ones where, you know, they're obliged to do that. I don't know.
It's such a depressing situation because nothing's gonna change. Like this, you know, not to be overly doomer, it just feels really hopeless because this is like instance 1,000,000 and 2,500, 6,000. Like, it keeps.
Yeah, they're not here to
happening.
protect. They're not here to protect the masses. They're here to protect the few.
Yeah,
it's always been that.
Absolutely, they uphold the status quo, ultimately protect property. They're terrible. You know, the whole system is rotten to the core. I personally believe that you cannot reform the system, so you have to abolish the entire system. Like delete, start from fresh.
Should you and I become cops and beat it from the inside? We could fight it from the inside.
Like a 21 Jump Street situation.
Yes, big figs in the fridge. Let's go in.
Hold on, in 21 Jump Street, don't they go back to high school? Would you guys go back to high school and?
We would be the 30-year-olds in high school.
We're gonna go into the police precinct as high schoolers. We're gonna be like, "Hello, fellow jailmen," and then we'll have our backpacks and our skateboards and our Zimas and our Dan Fogelberg CDs.
You know, the one problem with that is there is a whole trove of content of both of us talking shit endlessly about cops. So we wouldn't be able to pull it off if they did a little bit of research.
That's true, but I don't expect them to do research. They're police officers.
A good point. That's a good point.
Here's another.
They'll be like, "What's your favorite donut?" And you know, I'll have that one covered. They'll accept us right off the bat.
Here's another cop-related story. I think this is out of Mississippi. It's either Mississippi or Alabama. This high school band was playing, and the cops came and told the marching band to stop playing, and the band director just made them keep playing and playing and playing, and then the cops freaked out on him. And
I just saw this too.
Yeah.
The Birmingham Police Department would like to share body-worn camera footage from the incident surrounding the Minor versus JO football game, played on Thursday, September 14th, 2023. During the incident, BPD officers took Minor High School's band director into custody. He was charged with...
That's crazy that their police department's initials are BPD. Just throwing that out there.
The following: disorderly conduct, physical harassment, and resisting arrest. Since the incident, Birmingham Police Chief Scott Thurman has met with Mayor Randall Woodfin, City of Birmingham leadership's team, and the superintendents of the Birmingham school system and the Jefferson County school system. At the direction of BPD Chief Scott Thurman, we are releasing this body-worn camera footage to the general public and to our media partners.
I mean, isn't that public domain anyway? Like, isn't body cam footage like supposed to be like public, open to the public?
I mean, you would think
that
that's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
The game ended 18 minutes prior to the beginning of this video. There's a 30-second audio delay on AXON body cameras. In 30 seconds, we should start getting audio.
Yeah, let me skip ahead a little to when they get to where. Here we go.
Unintelligible dialogue.
So, the officer's like, time to leave. It looks like there's nobody on the field. I don't know what type of event this was exactly. Maybe it was just practice for the marching band. I don't know. Yeah, so this guy's the actual director of the band, and the cop's like, time to leave.
Get out of my face.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't understand what the problem is. Like, what does anyone know why they told them to stop playing in the first place?
I don't know. I think I see like either cheerleaders or the color guard down there on the track too. Like it looks like it was maybe the end of some football game or just practice of some sort, but I don't know why they had to leave or why the police were there.
You think the game went too late? They had overtime or something, and they're closing them for a noise ordinance at the stadium?
I don't know. There's nobody in the stands across the way, and I don't see anyone but band members in these stands. I don't know if there was a game. I'm not sure.
I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, because I watched the Philip DeFranco report on this, I think that this, if I'm not mistaken, was the away team, and so they were going to leave. I could be wrong though, so don't quote me on that. But it's just there's the lack of context
there was a
makes it
game
so much more puzzling.
It said that the game ended 18 minutes before the body cam footage turned on. So this is 18 minutes after the game was over.
Okay.
I got my troops.
Ooh,
they're gonna sweep
their asses out.
Yep. And he's like, keep going. Yeah.
Jesus.
This is our last song.
So they just want to finish the song, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, you go to jail, and he's like, that's cool.
He's like, yeah, I'll go to jail. Let me finish my song.
Yeah, go to jail over playing a song too long. Like, it's so comical.
Yeah.
Wait, his finger's in the shape of a gun.
So it's time to fire up the brass section. Then they turn off the lights on the field.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow.
And the sergeant's like, put him in handcuffs.
Okay, so they haven't shocked him yet.
No, not yet.
It's coming.
Yeah, he goes like down to the sidelines of the field. So he was up in the stands and he kind of like jumped down to the sidelines.
Turning the lights off seems like a hazard, a safety hazard.
Right?
You'd think. So now there's a scuffle. It just seems like unnecessary for it to escalate to this level.
Because they have no concept of de-escalation. Like they started this whole shit. They are the ones who instigated this. This video is so wild. I only saw like just the footage as B-roll while Philip DeFranco was like talking over it, but to see the actual raw footage is even more crazy.
Yes. Put him in jail.
So he's resisting arrest?
I mean, they do this shit all the time where they put you in a hold where you just naturally like tense up and they say you're resisting, but your arm is being twisted behind your back or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Well, first he said he hit him, and then he said he swung on him.
Yeah. Such bullshit.
He's going to jail because I asked him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. So he is going to jail for disrespect.
Disrespect.
In Alabama.
Yeah.
In Alabama, you can go to jail for disrespect, but not for Roll Tide having sex with your family. Roll Tide.
It's sheer insanity.
He tried to zap him and missed right there.
Oh, wow.
They get some this time. Third taser cycle.
Jesus.
One time we watched this police body cam footage where they tased this guy and he was laying down and he stopped, but then the taser just like turned on by itself and they couldn't turn it off. Do you remember that? And the guy's like like laying. Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible.
God.
This cop that we're watching the body camera footage from dropped his taser while he jumped down from the stands, and it's been sitting there this whole time, and he's gonna go back and like pick it up. He can't find it.
This cop better be careful. The fraternity boys might come out. I think that Birmingham has a fraternity of Kappa Beta coppers. Is he about to Jeff Hardy him off those
There
steps?
it is. So this whole time,
do a swanton bomb.
This whole time, his taser's been sitting here, like where anybody could have grabbed it. He dropped it.
Birmingham Fire and Rescue personnel treated the band director at the scene and officers transported him to UAB Hospital. This is standard BPD protocol after this type of incident prior to being transported to the Birmingham City Jail.
Is that so?
Yeah. And then there's one more statement from the police department spokesman here.
The incident is under investigation by the Birmingham Police Department's Internal Affairs Division. The Birmingham Police Department is committed to maintaining a positive relationship with our community through transparency and open dialogue.
And when we say our community, we do not mean the away team. Fuck them. They got what they deserved. Zap, zap. Oh, shit.
So ridiculous. And before he was tased, like the second time after the first time failed, he's just standing there. I mean,
yeah, right?
It's so insane.
I'm not sure if the first shot was warranted, but Mans was just standing there. The second shot couldn't have possibly been warranted, right?
Right.
You missed the first one. That was God saying, "Nah, man, this ain't right."
Come on, guys. He was disrespected. That cop was disrespected. He had every right to tase that man.
I keep forgetting that. I keep forgetting he was disrespected.
Yeah.
If a big band director starts doing them crazy hand swoops in front of me, he's getting shocked. Fuck that, dude. I don't want to see no crazy hand swoops. I don't want to see jazz hands. I don't want to see hands over the pants hand jobs by Lauren Boebert if I feel disrespected at the time.
You know what it is?
I don't need any of that hand stuff.
Little do we know, but Eric July is actually the sheriff of that town, and disrespect is illegal.
I would have got away.
Mike, are you familiar with Eric July?
Meddling detractors.
No.
Eric July is this guy. He works for Blaze TV. He's an independent comic book publisher, and his whole shtick is my comics aren't woke. We don't race swap people. We don't force transgenders and gays down your throat. You can just enjoy comics the way they used to be. And that's his whole thing. And he's crowdfunding millions. He does have a lot of people behind him, but he cannot ignore people that criticize him. So he responds to everybody. He's like, I don't take no disrespect. You know, it's pretty funny.
Okay, now that you tell me about this, it does actually sound familiar. I did a video about some conservative comic book dude who tried to do a crowdfunding for a movie based on his comic. It was like a anti-woke Wonder Woman. I don't know if this is the same guy, but he was defrauded after he raised the money. I don't know. It was some company that took the money and defrauded him. I don't know if it's the same guy.
It's not, but it's a similar thing.
Right?
Yeah. It's kind of a popular thing right now, and they have a very
Comicsgate.
Comicsgate is what it's called. Yeah. And they have like a whole fan base that will like come after you if you criticize them at all. And their whole thing is like, oh, Disney is obviously failing and going out of business because they have all this woke bullshit in all their movies. And that's like anytime a movie's bad, it's because there's something they consider woke in it. Nothing to do with the plot, nothing to do with anything else. You know, it's just there was woke shit. Like they race swapped a character or something like that.
Right. It's so weird because you notice how they'll kind of change the standards of what is and isn't woke depending on if a movie was successful. So that way they can prove this idea that go woke, go broke. Like I remember when the Super Mario movie was coming out, there was a trailer and it kind of portrayed Peach as a girl boss. And there was a bunch of conservatives online squawking about that, saying it was woke, it was a feminist movie. Yep. But then after the movie did really well, they're like, see, it's an anti-woke movie because there's no politics. It's apolitical. It has Chris Pratt. And so they will twist themselves in the pretzels to try to find a way to make something woke or anti-woke if they can prove the whole go woke, go broke. But in actuality, like things that they consider woke, they make a lot of money. Like I think most things you could find something that's woke about it. I mean, when what was it? The Jurassic World movie came out, the last one. I don't remember the name. Dominion World something.
I have no idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a shitty movie, but they released the screenshot from the movie with Chris Pratt and a black woman, one of the characters, and like, oh no, it went woke. I'm like, wait, so like literally just like putting a black person in a movie is woke now?
Yes, to them it is.
Jesus Christ, it's so unhinged. Like, just admit that you don't want to see black people or gay people or like anyone that's not like, I guess, white dudes in the movies. But I mean, unless it's like a love interest and she's sexual. And she looks good, but not too good because then that's grooming if kids see. I don't know. I genuinely, they're so fucking stupid and they really need hobbies. Like to care about this shit. The fact it's so sad to me that like we've been doing this for a while. You've all been doing this longer than me, but like we could be so much more popular if we just like turned on a camera and talked about how like Baldur's Gate 3 is fucking woke and, you know, this is destroying fucking, you know, the West or some dumb bullshit like that. Because that's kind of what like appeals to a lot of people. I think a lot of like really young boys who haven't really like developed their political identity, just like young, just want to see people talk about video games, and then like boomers who are like, oh yeah, all this shit is woke. Woke video games are bad. It's a really brain rotting time that we live in, unfortunately.
There's a lot of people that don't want to address the real concerns of why their life sucks, so they want to place blame on these little scapegoats. And you know, if Captain Marvel is Brie Larson, then, you know, comic books have been destroyed and I'm angry and I won't be happy until everybody else is unhappy with me. Doesn't matter if they put out good movies. Doesn't matter if there's other good movies to watch. Doesn't matter if there's literally so much entertainment out there. You could choose entertainment that's actually entertaining and not just mining your own personal fucking anger and weakness. But you know, that's the easy sell. These guys aren't going to be able to hit you with entertaining stuff. These people are only going to be able to mine your anger and your insecurity and get you to spend the money that you're not going to be spending on Brie Larson on them. It's like those guys that are anti-OnlyFans. They're like, hey, yeah, OnlyFans girls are fucked up. They're destroying society. I'm going to take the money you would have spent on them and you can buy my mug.
Right. Yeah. It's you hit a good point when you said that they don't have talent. This is what iDubbbz, like, he recently put out a video. I don't know if you all followed that, where he was talking about how he really like regrets his older content, like overly edgelord, racist, stuff like that, just saying slurs for the sake of it. And he said that he did that because it was easy, because he didn't really feel confident in his own ability to entertain. Right. So the easy thing was just like, if you just kind of go out of your way to be offensive, and that's a really easy way to attract an audience. And you really see that in action. Like, it's such a good point that he made, because, and I'm glad he said it, because you can see how negative engagement farming works. I think that a lot of these folks, they don't believe anything that they say. Like, we have Jess Pearly things. Like, she talks about how women shouldn't be allowed to vote, and I guess Hitler was good according to her, or maybe she has questions about Hitler. And it's like, you don't believe anything that you're saying.
The extreme,
you want to get the biggest reaction.
The extreme version of that is Leafy is here. He is like,
True.
Like, and like, not even him. Like, he wasn't like this so much. So like 6-7 years ago, he was edgy then, but now he just will type like one sentence to piss as many people off as possible. You know?
Yeah.
Like, he'll literally just say, like, exactly trans people are evil, or, like, the Jews rule the world. Like, he'll just come out and say that kind of shit out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, it's a ticket to fame.
It
right?
does
because,
work.
I mean, like, even it does, and it's sad that it works, because even if most of the negativity that you're getting and most of the engagement is people shitting on you and saying you're a bad person, you're still going to build an audience really fast that way, because you're attracting the people who want to hear you say that, who stick around. And so, like, negative engagement farming is kind of like the new thing that we're seeing, where you see these folks like Andrew Tate and, you know, all these other shitheads kind of come to power, or not come to power, come to popularity quickly, just because they say outrageous things that get the eyeballs on them. And as long as you have the eyeballs, those eyeballs are monetizable. It doesn't matter if people are hate watching you or not. What matters is that they're watching you. So it's sad, because the incentives are very perverse right now. Like, just doing good content and trying to do like quality, like humorous content, or like just informative content, that doesn't play as well as just turning on a camera and ranting about the woke agenda. And I think that, to your point, Billy, this is like, a lot of this is calculated too, right? Like, it's driven by politicians and not just influencers, because they don't want you to actually, as you said, determine why we're all pissed off. Like, we have a reason to be pissed off, right? If you're a working class person in this country, you make shit pay, can't afford rent. So if you don't have like a broader analysis about how capitalism has commodified every single aspect of our lives and devastated us and killed the planet, then, you know, you have to think, oh, well, it must be something simple. It's probably an immigrant who is driving down the cost of labor. Maybe it's these trans people who are getting jobs because they're trans, or a black person who gets accepted into college instead of me because they were black and didn't work as hard as I did. Like, you have to find like some sort of a scapegoat.
It's
and
classic divide and conquer. We don't want anybody.
1,000%.
We don't want anybody focusing on the real problem. So we, instead of keeping up with the Joneses, we're cutthroat with the Joneses. We're looking at the neighbors next to us, and they're our enemies, and it keeps us at the bottom of the barrel, crawling around like slugs when we could be soaring like beautiful parrots, big gay rainbow parrots. Beautiful.
Yeah. I wanted to play this next video because it's Trump kind of setting the stage for the next reason he's going to claim why he lost. This time it's like, well, they're bringing back COVID restrictions. They're doing it to make me lose.
For too long now, the Spurgs have been pulling the chains of DP content. Keep doing more news and current
events. Thank you so much. Here's
left-wing lunatics are trying very hard to bring back COVID lockdowns and mandates with all of their sudden fear-mongering about the new variants that are coming. Gee whiz, you know what else is coming? An election.
See, yeah, he's already posing a conspiracy theory that they're going to ramp up the COVID stuff again so that there's going to be all these mandates and you're going to have to vote by mail, and somehow that's easier to rig than normal voting, which it isn't.
Why do I feel like he's about to sell us a commemorative plate?
Probably because you have deja vu, because he's done that before. Remember that? What was it? He sold Trump
Trumpy
gold
bear
coins, NFTs.
Trump gold coin, Trumpy bear,
steaks.
The fucking Trump bear.
Trumpy bear. I forgot about Trumpy bear.
Trumpy bear was nuts.
Was that from him though, or was that like a third party?
It was a third.
It might have been a third party, but
oh, okay. It would be so funny if he actually did try to sell a Trumpy bear.
How would he not sign off on it though and talk against it if he wasn't behind it? Because
it's the most wholesome thing that he could do.
I think he's an egomaniac, and at that point, he took like anything like that was positive in his direction as a compliment and just allowed it to exist, because it just kind of like created his legacy further and further as someone that was well liked by a large portion of the voting population, which is true. You know,
is it messed up that I've stuffed both of my Matt Walsh babies and my Trumpy bear into a gigantic cum jar?
Gross. You know, one of the few times, because you said like Trump, he might be able to get away with anything, like as far as his base goes. The one time I heard him get booed was when he encouraged everyone there to get vaccinated, and then he got booed.
Right.
And then he's like, "If you want to."
You've got your freedoms.
Yep.
I remember that. Yeah, that's
because
a great point.
He wants to take credit.
I love how quickly Trump will pivot the second he catches a boo.
He wants to take credit for the vaccine because it happened under his watch. So he doesn't want to completely disavow it because he can like take credit for it. But most of his base thinks it's like this evil Mark of the Beast technology or whatever. So yeah.
Did you see his Megyn Kelly interview?
Yes.
She actually, she was trying to get him to basically denounce the vaccine, and he's trying to do this weird tap dance because it's like, look, it saved millions of people, which is true. I mean, he should want to take credit for that. He deserves partial credit for at least creating, the program that led to it getting rolled out so quickly, but he can't. So, he's talking about the vaccine saving lives. So she's like, are you proud of it? He's like, well, no, I'm not proud of it, but it's such a weird tap dance to do. So I think you're right. Maybe that's like the one thing. The vaccine is his kryptonite.
Yes.
Although the problem is that if he really runs on that, that's not going to be like a general election winner, because DeSantis is kind of like the anti-vax guy and the anti-groomer guy, and he's fucking tanking. So it's, as much as the base cares about it, it's not like high on the list of priorities, apparently.
No.
They want to restart the COVID hysteria so they can justify more lockdowns, more censorship, more illegal drop boxes, more mail-in ballots, and trillions of dollars in payoffs to their political allies heading into the 2024 election. Does that sound familiar? These are bad
Listen
people.
up,
These
America.
are sick people with.
It's 2024. The stakes have never been higher. Speaking of steaks, order now the Trump steaks. I'm going to be out of a job once again.
Illegal drop boxes? Does he mean mailboxes? Like, what is he talking about?
Where you drop off ballot voting.
You can drop those in regular mailboxes.
They're illegal now.
No, they're not.
There's the illegal boxes.
I would imagine he's using a teleprompter, but did he mess up the talking point? Because usually the talking point is ballot harvesting. That's what they don't like, which is it's necessary because if you can't get out and you're disabled, then you have somebody collect your ballot for you. Like there's nothing nefarious about it. So I'm wondering if that's what he meant, but who knows?
Dealing with. But to every COVID tyrant who wants to take away our freedom, hear these words: we will not comply. So don't even think about it. We will not shut down our schools. We will not accept your lockdowns. We will not abide by your mask mandates. And we will not tolerate your vaccine mandates. They rigged the 2020 election, and now they're trying to do the same thing all over again by rigging the most important election in the history of our country, the 2024 election, even if it means trying to bring back COVID. But they will fail because we will not.
They're going to bring back COVID. They're bringing it back. That is, it's quite an allegation.
The streets coughing into each other's mouths.
No, it's like in the Democratic laboratory, they're breeding a super COVID variant. Like that, you know? It's. I hope JFK comes back now and becomes his running mate. You know?
Teenage Mutant Ninja COVID.
I heard that RFK was considering, speaking of the FKs, that RFK was considering running as third party because he thinks that the Democratic Party is being unfair. And the Democratic Party, for the record, is never fair during primaries. But I would love that because he would absolutely take votes away from Donald Trump and not the Democrats.
How often do they seriously primary a sitting president from their party? Never.
Right. Never. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in general primaries, like the odds are usually stacked against like the leftist candidates, and they always have their favorite, right? This has been the case. But like during the primary for an incumbent, I mean, you have a snowball's chance in hell. Like it's not possible. Even being a Kennedy and having, being the winner of a lucky sperm club with a fucking Kennedy in your last name.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm not
dead Kennedy has the more votes.
I'm not a big Biden or Kamala Harris fan. I do kind of not want Biden to run again. I kind of wish that with the way things are, maybe I don't really like Kamala either, but she's not like 80 years old. I say Biden just hands it over to her and then she just runs as the incumbent president in the next election. I don't know.
Well, I would prefer that. Like, I'm with you. I cannot stand Biden.
Yeah.
Also, cannot stand Kamala. I don't know, because it seems like no matter who we all want, the Democratic Party already and the media has like their favorite. Like last time, they propped up Biden and they loved Pete Buttigieg. Shit on Bernie nonstop. So it's like if Biden hands it over to Kamala, and she, like, if he just steps down, wins a second term, steps down, and she runs as the incumbent, I feel like that would also facilitate there being no primary. So even though, like, I agree, like, I don't like Kamala, but would she be better than Biden? I don't know. She's younger, so maybe she like wants to think more about her legacy. It's it's hard to say. You're like the differences aren't that discernible. But at the same time, would she be better as president? I'm not sure. I will admit that Biden is better than I thought, because I expected absolutely nothing. And he's done some good things. I mean, Biden is still not great. But the NLRB, like his pick for that has basically been huge for unionization and labor. He nearly ended the drone war, pulled out of Afghanistan. But at the same time, like none of this is far enough. Right, none of the climate policy investments in green tech, like it's not nearly enough. His policies are still very milquetoast neoliberal, and he didn't battle with Manchin and Sinema at all. He kind of just let them cuck him. So we're kind of in just like a shitty situation. It feels like where I don't know if there's a winning scenario, because
I don't know who would, like, if he was just like, I'm not running for president, but he wants to stay in for the rest of his term. So I don't know who else would, like, they'd have to have like a primary election, right? Are we already past the point where Biden, actually, I don't think there is a point where Biden couldn't just be like, I'm not running, right? Like his campaign hasn't officially started.
The problem is that it's already kind of too late. Even though election cycles in the U.S. are very long, he would have already needed to announce that he's not running in order for there to be a really robust primary because, the first primaries take place at the beginning of next year. And so that gives a bunch of Democratic candidates only a few months to build their campaign. And it's not just like you can announce you're running, but I mean, building the infrastructure takes a very long time, which is why they announced so early. So at this point, I mean, he kind of he fucked everyone. Like, if he were to step down and say, okay, I'm not going to run after all, that would really handicap whoever the eventual nominee would be. So I think it's a terrible decision because he's really unpopular with young people, which could be the death knell
He
for the
needs
party.
subtitles. Like, I have trouble. He slurs so bad. Like, he used to be an eloquent speaker at one point, like way more than now. Like, I remember him him debating Sarah Palin when him and Obama were running, and he like made Sarah Palin look dumb and out of touch. And now I just
Sarah Palin.
But I mean, like he did it so easily without looking mean or aggressive or anything. He just like easily. I don't think he could do that now. I'm kind of afraid what a debate now between Biden and Trump would look like.
I agree with you, but here's what I will say. And this is a conspiracy theory that has zero evidence. So audience, keep that in mind. What I'm saying is I'm full of shit. I think that his team is giving him Addies, like drugging them something.
President until one literally expires mid-race. Only then will people really get it.
Oh, God.
I mean, we're kind of close to that, right?
Sorry, Mike. I didn't hear what you said.
They're gonna Thanos snap.
I think that my conspiracy theory is that his staffers are straight up giving him like Coke or Adderall before these debates. Because, okay, my theory back in 2020 when Bernie was like on the cusp of losing, this was post Super Tuesday and that bloodbath. I'm like, okay, it's really good to see a debate between Biden and Bernie because when you see them together, you can see the differences, not just in policy, but in coherency. Like Bernie is much more put together. I mean, they were concerned with Bernie. He had a stroke or a heart attack rather on the campaign trail. So of course the old allegations aren't going to go away, but like in terms of policy, like seeing them together, it's going to be crystal clear. And Biden fucking crushed it in that debate. Like he did really well against Bernie. And I was like, okay, never mind. We're fucked. I guess it's going to be Biden. And then against Trump, I think he did pretty well. So like he's still coherent enough to have these moments and like to shine. But as you said, though, like, I mean, time's ticking, right? In a year from now, it's so scary. I don't know.
The decline is noticeable.
If Trump were to win, I agree.
Well, what if the bad moments were? What if the bad moments were his come down days, where he was coming down from the Adderall and the Coke? And we're seeing him on his lows. And we're giving him an unfair judgment, you know? There might be a mid-Biden between his awesome speeches that we see sometimes and his terrible speeches we see other times. There might be a mid-level Biden that's just like, not the worst old dust president of all time.
Yeah, he certainly has his moments. Like, there are times where you see the old Joe Biden, and it's like, yes, like he's finally like he's doing it. Like when he announced that he was going to cancel $10,000 to $20,000 worth of student debt, he was leaving the room, and a reporter was like, "Isn't this unfair to the people who paid off their student debt?" And he like turned around and was like, "Isn't it unfair to the people who had to pay out the PPP loan?" And like, I don't remember what he said, but it was like a really good comeback. And just like sharp and like the perfect level of bitchiness that I loved.
Damn.
And so he has those moments, right? But as you said, like all of these bad moments kind of build up. And like when you see the polls, I mean, it's still early, so you don't want to put too much stock into polls to be clear. But like when you see like the perception of like the average normie voter, I think it's going to hurt him. And so that's why like it's really worrying. I don't know if you all have heard about Project 2025. No. So it's a 900-plus page document by a collection of right-wing think tanks led by the Heritage Foundation, but it includes a ton of different ones. A lot of them are from former Republican administrations, Trump's even. And basically their goal is to turn the United States into a dictatorship within the first 180 days of the next president's administration. That's a Republican. So the first thing they want to do, like, that would be a complete 180. That's a good point. So they want to dismantle the administrative state, and they want to have the president take control of the entire executive. If Trump did this last time, he would have been able to probably steal the election, because last time there were restraints, right? Like he wanted to have Bill Barr, rerun he had all of these demands. He wanted to put somebody in to the Justice Department who would do his bidding after he kept losing attorneys general. But there was this threat of mass resignation when he wanted to put in Jeffrey Clark. So the plan is to re-implement an executive order, which is Schedule F, which changes the status of civil servants. And basically, long story short, what that means is that they're going to clean house. So they're going to replace everyone, all these bureaucrats who've been in these agencies for decades, with loyalists to Trump, and allow him to directly assume control over these agencies. So, for example, what that means is that, if you want an investigation into your political opponent, you don't have to just cross your fingers and hope that your attorney general does it, or even appoint someone who is a stooge for you. You could just do it, because he wants to assume control. Project 2025 wants the future Republican to assume control over all of these agencies. And on top of that, they want to implement a bunch of new policies, all stemming from a ban on or a ban on porn, and enforcing that through internet censorship. And what they're going to do is take that porn designation and apply it to everything LGBTQ, anything. So it's basically it's the death knell for democracy. And it doesn't matter if it's Trump or a different Republican. This is what they want to implement. And with Trump, he has people that have written this document that are probably going to serve in his second term, because they're still close with him and they came from his term, and he's already embraced parts of this. So it's this is long story short, the reason why I bring this up is that because it's not a time to fuck around. And so I think it's so irresponsible that Biden chose to run again, because you are putting the entire country at risk because of your ego. And when he was running the first time, he even considered running as a one-term president just to get the country back on track. And even before he announced this, polls were indicating that the party itself, not Republicans, not possible voters, Democratic Party loyalists, did not want him to run. And he was defiant. So now we're in the situation where we're probably going to see a rematch, and it's going to be close. I hope it's not going to be close. Maybe the criminal charges against Trump will influence it. But either way, we are rolling the dice. And it's really troubling.
I've heard in some states they're trying to not have him on the ballot, and they're using some law because each state controls their own elections. I guess some states they're just trying to keep him off the ballot. If they can successfully keep him off the ballot in several states, then the Republican Party would have to choose somebody else, I would think, if they were oh, he's not eligible. Yeah. But then he would still run as independent. There's no way Trump isn't running for president in this next election.
Right. Yeah, they're not going to get rid of him. So it's either Trump at the top of the GOP ticket or somebody else at the top with Trump running in tandem, which means they split the votes and they fuck themselves.
I would love that. I want that so bad.
I would love that so much. Here's one thing that I will say with confidence. I always tell people I don't make predictions because my predictions are usually wrong. The opposite that I think is going to happen happens, because, who could predict anything with American politics lately? But one thing that I know for sure is that 2024 is going to be a fucking shit show. And I wish that I could watch from afar. It kind of sucks that we're living through a historical moment, but it's going to be at least entertaining, at the very least. But yeah, wild times that we're living in.
How long till we get Cory Booker in the White House?
Oh God, hopefully never. But I feel like
I want Rosario Dawson as first lady.
I think they're broken up.
They broke up though.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Fuck him. Get out.
Did you know? Did you know Trump plays an invisible accordion?
An invisible accordion.
Everything else that was hacked recently.
Oh, that's not
didn't
invisible.
Make a big deal out of that.
Well. He's always doing this when he talks during his speeches. He's always doing this with his hands. And someone put an accordion in his hand. It's great.
I'll be honest. Awesome. I think if he did have something, they would have released it. They would have been glad to release it. I don't want to take advantage of something.
Why is he always doing
I have
that?
Something that others don't have.
That's
I don't
so
like
funny.
the way that looks, but I would be able to do that if I wanted to. I'd be the only one that would be able to do that. If we wanted to, I just don't want to because I think that would be a conflict. We're doing them a tremendous service by doing it. We are going to build a wall.
He was doing this the whole time in the Megyn Kelly interview. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was pretty great.
That is amazing. I've never seen this before, but I love it.
Yeah.
Have you, you ever... Sorry, go ahead, Billy.
It's like when there's like a big fat woman at the buffet, and she's like, "Ooh, Lordy, there's delicious little pies and cakes and pies. I have all of the cakes and pies." Just goes have those happy hands.
It's very weird. I don't know if it's a New York thing because Bernie Sanders kind of does it too, but he kind of talks like this instead, but not as much as Trump. But I was gonna say, have you ever seen like Trump Jr. recently in his videos where he talks? Like he sounds like he's trying to do an impersonation of Trump, and he does the hand thing too. It's so fucking strange.
No.
Yeah. You've got to check it out. Sometimes he'll get overly coked up, and it's just wild. Like his voice will get super high pitched and then low pitch again, and then he'll like do the hands. He sounds like a bad Trump impression. He hasn't done the orange yet, to my knowledge, at least not as like conspicuously as Trump has. But he's trying very hard to sound like daddy, and it is a very, very funny result.
Wow. Trump Jr. and Hunter Biden should have like a coke-off where they like
they should have a podcast together. Yeah. I might actually listen to that.
Where they get all high, they get all hopped up on stimulants and
two fail sons talking about politics that they don't know shit about.
Yeah.
People would go crazy. I don't blame them for what's happened. I don't blame them for taking advantage of the United States. I wish our politicians were so smart. I had my meeting. Nobody knew. Not even Rona.
Have you seen the Trump and Biden AI on Twitch?
Yeah, where they're playing like Fortnite and stuff.
They're like debating each other. It's like 24 hours of them like debating, but they get like really dirty and like swear at each other and react.
Oh, okay, I haven't seen that.
Let me see if I can find it.
I've seen the Fortnite stuff, and it is absolutely hilarious.
I have seen that. It's live. It's 24 hours a day, and it let's see here. I got it.
No kidding.
Yeah, and they react to what the people in the chat say. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, let's see here.
Believe me, Bigley, your nonsense is about as appealing as a used condom on a sun-drenched beach. Tremendous. But hey, at least you keep things interesting with your obsession with missing feet and shoving bananas up your bum. Are you auditioning for the role of clueless cretin in the next season of America's Got No Talent? The winner hidden up there must be desperately trying to escape from that deep abyss of ignorance you call a brain. But let's not forget who we're really here for. The bloated orange buffoon himself, Donald J. Trump.
What the fuck?
He's like that crumpled McDonald's wrapper stuck to the bottom of my shoe during my morning walk to find those damn...
Oh no, an ad. They got to make their money somehow.
Yep.
But quick reminder to everyone, please like the stream if you haven't already. Liking the stream helps out a lot. And if you want to start a tip train, as you see, we don't mind being interrupted by money, and the money interrupts us. So when you send in a question or a comment, feel free to send it in, and $5 plus gets you some text to speech. So feel free to keep those coming. It keeps the lights on here.
I'm going to run to the bathroom really quick. I'll be back.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Oh, shit, wrong one. All right, everybody. I was left all alone. That's weird that everyone else got up and went to the bathroom before me, and that's a first. Because you know me, sometimes I'll take like upwards of 6 different potty breaks during the stream. So it's an unexpected change. Please give the stream a like. Also, please sign up for our Patreon. I beg of you to sign up for our Patreon. Our Patreon is suffering, and that's the main thing that keeps the show running. And we've got some entertaining content coming up to finish out the end of the month. We've got Spin Till You Spew, me and Jeff Holiday going up against each other in the ultimate contest of drinking and trivia supremacy. That's for $5. And then also including that $5 is Actual Mania coming up that same week. Also that same week for the $10 and above level, we're going to do a live review of The Guyver, the full feature film The Guyver, which was based off of a Japanese anime. Imagine Power Rangers, but like with gore and violence in it. It's kind of got that, and it's starring Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker himself, kind of, you know, in the 90s. But yes, yeah, Mark Hamill is in it. It's gonna be amazing, and we're putting out this amazing content for you guys. You've seen The Guyver, but you haven't seen us react to The Guyver, and that's what it's all about. You guys both came back at the exact same time. That was interesting.
We weren't doing anything together.
Now it's my opportunity
to run a
run
podcast with Hunter Biden and Donald Trump Jr. doing coke in the bathroom.
I'll be right back.
We didn't have AI Biden telling us to put bananas in our bum.
So what Twitch channel is that again? Because I have to watch more of that. That's so good. It's really accurate.
I don't know the address, but Trump versus Biden AI debate probably would come up on Twitch if you search that in a Google or something.
And it just goes on 24 hours a day. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I could watch quite a bit of that. Did you ever see the AI Seinfeld that ended up getting banned?
Yeah. Yeah, we were watching that for a minute. And it
that was good.
It lasted about a week? Was it a week?
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. About a week, and then it was gone. I feel like once the novelty wears off, it won't be as funny. But currently, I still think that AI stuff is so funny because it's bad. I mean, it's good, but you know, it's so it's so outrageous. Like, you know, Biden calling Trump, you know, an orange buffoon. I think that's hilarious. I was telling Ben about the Fortnite videos that I saw. So there's these Twitch AI versions of Obama and Biden, and I think even Bush and Trump. They're all playing Fortnite, and they're like cussing it. It's so funny because it's like you know, to imagine what they'd be like in that element if they're these little edgelords streaming Fortnite. I just find it so funny. There's something about it that's weird and very delightful. I don't know.
Oh, it's very funny. It's smart. It's interesting. They'll do that. They've done that a lot with like Magic the Gathering content, where like all the presidents will sit down and play Magic the Gathering together, and you could tell like some nerd really spent some time putting it together because like they're playing a correct game, and you're like, oh my god, this is horrible for all the right reasons. You know, awesome. I went and saw last night. I went to see a early release of the movie Dumb Money. Are you familiar with this?
Oh, that's the Wall Street Bets GameStop thing, right?
Yeah,
How was it?
Strange. It was good, but it was strange. They had you know, the Wall Street Bets guys referring to themselves as retards. And to see a big movie kind of like celebrate the shit posting and celebrate the use of the R word. So I was like, man, this might be a turning point. We haven't saw the R word in film being thrown around jovially in a long time.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is an interesting little twist here we got going.
We've got to do some.
Because they're really making the Wall Street Bets guys look like the heroes here.
There's got to be like reverse engineering socially, where we convince everyone that it's a woke movie, and then, you know, conservatives will hate it, and then they'll see it's actually super duper edgy to the point where they're you know, taking the direct humor from Wall Street Bets. Because there's going to be something about that politically that somebody is mad about, but I haven't I don't know, I haven't heard anything besides what you just said about it. So I am like, it does sound interesting, just because, you know, that whole thing was really it was good to see.
Yeah.
It was nice to see, but I feel like it's a little bit early for a movie. Like maybe 10 years down the line. I don't know. It's like when they did a 9/11 movie 3 or 4 years after with Nicolas Cage. It's like, this is too soon. This feels too soon. I don't know.
What was the one that was about the 2008 housing crisis? That one came out. Was it The Big Short? Was that it?
Oh,
that came
I believe
out.
So.
That came out. What, 5 or
Great
6
to
years
see Mike
after
on the show
the
again.
crisis?
It has been too long
Yeah.
since we saw him last. Please come back to Drunken Peasants more often, Mike. Long live at Drunken Peasants and at the Humanist Report.
There you go.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, we watched this really bad Christian independent film about a firefighter that was in 9/11, right? And then he had a dream that he was supposed to help Trump get elected. Wasn't that it? Wasn't he a firefighter that was part of that was at 9/11?
Yeah, was he at 9/11?
I thought
he's.
Maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I could have swore he was
Was it called the Trump prophecy?
Yes.
Was that what?
Yeah, and he it was his destiny to help Trump get elected. He had a prophetic dream where he it was his destiny to help Trump get elected. It was the worst movie ever. We did a movie review of it years ago. It was unbelievable.
I'm gonna have to check out your movie review.
It had a weird ass bumper at the end that was like a call to action for Christians.
The movie randomly ended, and then all of a sudden it was some Christian sermon or something at the end.
As weird as this sounds, you're kind of making me want to see it just out of morbid curiosity.
Yeah, it's really bad.
It's definitely it's like an hour and a half with the Christian bumper at the end. So it's not too much of your life,
Okay.
but it's fucking interesting.
I'll play you the
That is
trailer.
very interesting.
I'm gonna grab the trailer
I'm so
here.
curious. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I like dumb movies. Dumb movies can be
Austin
great.
Wardell says Trump saved 300 people from the rubble single-handedly. I didn't hear about that. I feel like we would have heard about that if that was true. Trump wouldn't
would
stop
never
talking
stop
about
talking
that.
about it, yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Let's see.
My job as a fireman was to react calmly. You can't afford to have feelings about it. It'll get you killed. In my work, I've seen everything. But what I saw last night scared me so much.
I must have just thought it was 9/11 related. I don't think it is, but he's still he had some kind of vision.
Okay.
And I think this is based on a true story.
It is? Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Nobody knew what PTSD was.
Lord, I need you to heal him. How does it feel?
It's a little scary. I have very graphic dreams. Sometimes I think it's God talking to me.
Dreams are important. They can give us a window to what's going on inside.
I got this one in 2011.
The Commander-in-Chief prophecy?
This is great.
God is telling us to pray for our country, its leadership, and those in authority over us. That's what we need to do.
They're going at him tooth and claw. What if I'm wrong?
If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray, then will I hear from heaven and heal their land.
Wow.
Didn't this woman have one of those a Christian didgeridoo or something that she?
A Christian didgeridoo?
She had some sort of wind instrument that was related to her religion. I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember. It's been a
I
while.
remember some weird didgeridoo or something that was Christ related. I don't know. It was weird.
Damn, now I'm even more intrigued if there's a didgeridoo, a Christian didgeridoo.
I don't think it's an actual didge, but it's something like a didge.
Yeah,
It's
'cause-
some big wind instrument, wooden wind instrument.
I wonder how many
Weird.
Aboriginals in Australia are Christian, because that's their instrument, the didgeridoo. That's from the indigenous people of Australia.
ER Joe is suggesting it was the Christ kazoo. It might have been the Christ kazoo.
Oh my God. Mike, I want to show you a guy that we watched for years and he left the internet. Now he's back again. He used to go by the name Marshall Manson the Fourth.
Marshall Mathers the Fourth.
Marshall Mathers the Fourth. That's it.
Oh,
Marshall Mathers the Fourth. And now he calls himself the Black Pill Joker. And he's a very angry incel. He's an angry incel. Check out. We might not even have to watch very much of this, just so you see what this guy's like.
Hey everyone, it's the Black Pill Joker here to you today with another video. And today I just wanted to take the time to talk about the fact that I really fucking hate attractive women. And to be honest, I have for a while.
Yeah, like these guys are mad that women won't have sex with them, but they also like hate women. So those kind of get in each other's way, you know?
Right, they're not seeing the disconnect.
Yes.
For many years of my life now. I mean, even when I was a teenager, the only thing I really ever truly felt towards attractive women was lust. Because really, that's all they're good for, is to just simply lust after. And to just desire and crave and wish to have and want.
So you know what's better than desiring women? Having them. It's just be a better man. They're looking for better men. Trust me. They're out there looking.
I was gonna say, anyone that's thinking about going for a walk in the woods anytime soon, think twice. This guy could be this guy could be waiting on the trail for you.
So if he doesn't like attractive women specifically, why not just date women who he's not attracted to?
Because
that way.
Yeah. I mean, his standards are probably unbelievably high too.
Right. I mean, he's not going to get any woman unless he trims his mustache, because that's unmanageable. And as somebody with a beard into beard health and beard beauty, just do a little quick trim, brother, and you'll be good.
With these blue eyes and this beard, he reminds me a little bit of Egghead.
He lives in the
boy Egghead.
Yeah, that's one of our buddies.
Oh, okay.
Sexually, to please and pleasure you as a man, and hopefully, make all your wildest dreams and sick, twisted fantasies and pleasures come true and become a reality. At least that's what I...
This is literally not what women want.
See, that's the problem.
They want your pleasures to become reality. All you have to do is be a worthy man, and all they want to do is serve you. They want to get on their hands and knees, and they want to blow you. They want to bend over. They want to do everything for you as long as you're worthy. I swear to God, these guys, all they have to do is improve themselves. It's going to take 5 to 10 years. You're not going to do it overnight. You're going to have to be one of those daddy types, because you blew your youth. You're garbage. You're a garbage youth. Grow into a worthy man, and the women are looking for people like you if you're worthy. But you're not. You got to put the footwork in.
Certainly.
Yeah, and honestly, what I think a lot of these men don't realize is that confidence goes a long way. So, like, if you get into this black pill mentality where it's like, oh, I'm never, ever going to get a girlfriend or whatever, it's like, who wants to be with someone like that? If you're just, like, overly mopey and you're always looking for affirmation, like, be confident in yourself and don't have a shitty attitude. No girl's gonna want to be with you if you hate them.
That's his major problem. His biggest problem is his attitude. Hands down.
Yeah, you have to be at one with yourself. You have to like yourself before you can add another person to yourself.
Exactly.
If you don't like yourself, nobody else will.
I think he likes himself. I don't think it's a lack of confidence. It's a lack of knowing how to talk to people and not be an asshole. And it's a lack of respect for them at all. He blames them
like a sulker.
No, he blames them for not wanting him. And he probably has really high standards. He's probably like, he'll probably like only date like a Victoria's Secret model or something like that, you know, like who knows?
I don't think that's true.
I don't know.
Craved when
you'd be surprised. A lot of these incel guys, they have like insanely high standards, and then they hate those women for not wanting to sleep with them when they're like incels living in their parents' house with no jobs.
If he liked himself, he would better himself.
I think he likes.
He is walking around the woods. He doesn't like himself. If he liked himself, he would have a job, he would have an income, he would have a hobby.
He's in the woods.
He'd be nurturing his inner child instead of whining like with his outer child.
He's in the woods because his dad doesn't like. He lives with his dad, and his dad doesn't like him making these videos.
If he liked himself, he would have a job, and he would have his own place, and he would have his own life, and he'd be building himself up. He's living with his dad, crybaby bitching through the woods. He lives the life he deserves.
I was a teenager, and of course I still do now as an adult, and it's even much worse now. Like, knowing that I myself wasn't able to have a girlfriend as a teenager, and I wasn't able to, release any of my pent up sexual frustration and tension and rage and anything like that to where I could have, released it, and I don't know.
So there's a little intro to him, and then just the beginning of this one. I want you to see.
Hey
this.
everyone, it's the Black Pill Joker here, back to you today with another video. And in today's video, I just wanted to take the time to talk about my favorite porn stars, or porn artists in other words. And I want to start out by saying that I would say one of my all-time favorite fart porn stars is...
Wait, did he just say fart porn star? Am I hearing that correctly?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So it becomes a little bit more clear why he's kind of struggling a little bit.
He's a connoisseur.
Yeah.
A Brazilian fart porn star named Tay, and that's spelled Tay. I don't know her
Tell her I sent you.
last name, and obviously that's probably not her real name, but simply
Hey,
just
I'm here from the Black Pill.
Yeah, the Black Pill Joker.
Black Pill Joker sent me great farts.
Are you looking her up? Yeah.
Billy is doing what I thought to do. I'm like, I'm gonna wait until after. I'm just I've heard of Brazilian fart porn. I think there's South Park, but I didn't know it was real. I mean, I assumed it was real, but like I didn't know that this was like a big thing.
Are you playing her farting or something?
I was trying to, but she's just talking,
no
wasting my
one
time.
wants to hear that.
Once again, women wasting my time.
Okay, this reminds me of I feel like you guys probably saw this too. Have you ever heard of the burping girl?
No.
So there's a Vice documentary of a girl who just films herself burping, and I think that's what she posts to her OnlyFans, and like people pay lots of money. One guy like drove across states to have her like burp on his bald head. There's a Vice doc that came out like a couple of months ago, and so this I'm bringing that up because this kind of like the fart thing reminds me of that. Like, I mean, there's something out there for everyone. Like, if he could find some girl to fart on him, or however fart in his face. I don't know what the particulars are, but he could find that if he just like had a better attitude. Maybe, I don't know.
What is how attractive is the Brazilian fart girl, Billy? You saw her.
She's like a 6.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like
she's not that. Yeah, she's not that attractive.
Okay.
Well, the fart's 10 out of 10 though, because that's what matters.
Yeah.
She didn't let me see.
It sounds like someone singing. Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was a wet one.
Oh my god.
Gonna need a moist towelette.
Yeah, so this guy, he's a trip.
Man.
He's no T-Bob though. We you know what? We haven't talked to T-Bob in a while, but maybe we'll have him back again sometime. I was wondering
how he's doing.
He's kind of this. He's the same. He still wants to ask men to prove that they're not gay by showing him their buttholes.
Why is it Brazilian fart porn? Do Brazilians fart more erotically?
I do know there's a gigantic industry of on-demand pornography in Brazil. You can order it. You can have pretty like detailed scenes ordered up for $500-$600. Like to the point where they'll build sets. They'll have multiple actors. They'll do basically everything you want in it. So maybe it's just like guys who are throwing a couple bucks at a girl to blow ass. Could have something to do with the local cuisine.
It can't just be a Brazilian thing, because now I'm remembering the story of the girl who got sick because she was selling her farts in a bottle and she like ate too much gassy food. She was also on 90 Day Fiance, I think, or before the 90 days. You know, I can't think of her name. But yeah, there's a fart thing now, man. The internet has let me know that there's some out there for everyone. You know,
you say there's a fart thing now.
That's
of fart things now. Mozart was making songs about farting and singing them to his mom. Like there's always been a fart thing.
Yeah, maybe ignorance is bliss, right? Where it's like, damn, I didn't know about all this shit.
You know,
no, farts are part of human nature and history and sexual tension and releasing such tension.
It's beautiful then.
It's a natural function for sure.
That's true, yeah.
It's natural and organic.
True.
You know, T-Bob becomes like this internet detective, and he starts like looking up random shit online. I don't know what he looks up, but he finds things that validate these unfounded beliefs that he has against his enemies. So there was this guy that was trolling him online, and somehow he got into his head that this guy was like this serial killer that was like unsolved, that like killed people all over the country or something. And
oh wow,
we were gonna hold this like mock trial where T-Bob was gonna be like the prosecutor.
There's a reason fart has art in it. Y'all see?
And Billy was gonna be the defense, and we were gonna have like this trial, but T-Bob was just so like insane. I was like, I can't deal with T-Bob. Like he's just like you know what? I'm open to doing it in the future, but man, I was getting overwhelmed with T-Bob and all of his lawyering behind the scenes, because I was supposed to be the judge.
Damn.
And he was just, man, it was ridiculous.
You know, when you showed me the videos of him originally, he seemed very like unhinged, obviously, but then when he talked to us, he was actually like fairly personable. And we kind of had like, it was funny, but we had a relatively normal conversation, as normal as you can have with him. So it's funny that he kind of goes through those moments where you just can't like manage a conversation with him, I guess, depending on his mood, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like how you can sit with your uncle at Thanksgiving for most of the dinner, but at some point it gets fucked and you have to go home.
Yeah, that's relatable. Yeah.
But he is like just off, like he's out of his mind. And he'll call 911. He did this all on video live. He called 911 when he shouldn't have, and tried to like report someone in this house that he lived in, where like all the rooms were rented out to like various people. He tried to report someone for something that was very unclear what he was even talking about. And when the 911 operator asked questions, he like cussed them out, and they hung up on him, and he kept calling back. And then the cops came, and he got arrested for like prank calling 911.
Oh my God.
And it was all on live stream the whole time when the cops were knocking on his door, and he was like sitting there smoking weed, trying to get rid of all of his weed, because he lives in Texas, so it's still illegal there.
Oh.
So he's trying to smoke all of his weed before they come into his room, and he's like, "Get the fuck out of here." He's a psycho. He is.
Oh my God. Has he, like, I wonder, have you ever asked him if he's gotten like a psychiatric evaluation? Because he could like be missing a medicine that would like, I don't know, help.
He's probably on it.
I don't know if he's on it. I don't know. I think he should be on something.
Yeah, I feel like he needs help, but like Texas, there's probably not a lot of resources. I don't know. He probably doesn't have Medicaid or anything like that. That's tough, man.
He lives in like a group style home, right?
It's more like a house.
Weird. It's like an old casino mansion. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like someone renting out an old mansion, like all the rooms to people who need like low income housing, basically.
I see.
Yeah. And then they work there. Yeah, it's like an underground casino. It's so weird.
So weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In an old mansion, and he'll work like the blackjack table. They have these weird like gambling nights, and I've asked him like, is it like illegal gambling going on there? And he just like gets all mad and is like, no, you know. But I don't know why would they have like a floor like filled with like blackjack tables and roulette and all that stuff just to have
something.
it. Yeah,
something a little bit sus going on.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah,
they've got to do a documentary about him.
Oh. He's something else. I get Bob fatigued for every now and then I'll go back into it. But he's just he's a weird character, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd ever want to like hang out with him in real life. I think like just talking to him on the internet's about as far as I'd want to go.
Yeah, for sure, sure. Some people in real life aren't the easiest to deal with.
Well, he's crazy too. I don't know what he do. I don't trust him.
Yeah.
So, what else? This is a crazy news story. Check this out.
A heads up about the sensitive nature of this next story. Many of us shop online, and it's not unusual to have packages showing up at our door on a regular basis.
But a woman says she was shocked when
that woman has like the stereotypical Canadian accent.
She opened up a large box which contained something she claims she didn't order. Here's Pat Foran and Consumer Alert. Pat.
Nathan and Michelle, the woman from Northern Ontario says she was totally surprised to get a delivery of more than 1,000 condoms. Even though she didn't order them, Amazon said she still had to pay the bill of almost $700.
What? How's that?
You know what's weird? One time I ordered something off of Amazon. I can't remember what it was, but instead they sent me printer paper. And I like contested it, and they just like ignored me. And I got charged for my original item, and I got printer paper instead.
Okay, what? I got to go into Sherlock Holmes mode here. Like, this woman looks very young. She's got 1,000 condoms there. And she has an old person's walker in the background.
Yep.
She's too young to need a walker unless she's using 1,000 condoms a day. I feel like she's trying to scam.
That's a good observation, Billy.
Joelle Engelhardt occasionally orders from Amazon, but says she definitely did not order 30 boxes of Trojan condoms.
She's not that young,
The resident of
right?
Chapleau, Ontario says
she's not old enough to be using that walker unless she's also using 1,000 condoms a day.
I just heard you say very young. And when I hear like a young adult, like a very young adult, I'd think like 19, 20, 21 years old.
When I'm also talking about a walker, I think that the assumption is that she's too young for a walker unless
you know what's going on in her life.
1,000 condoms used a day.
I want them to interview her because I feel like I could tell if she's lying if I heard her explanation. Like I could actually. I feel like I need to hear.
She's Canadian though, and they can throw you for a loop.
Did get an email saying they were on the way.
We automatically assume that the email was a scam because it's not anything.
Is her head not right on her neck? Is it off? I feel like her head is just.
It's a weird angle.
It is. I've got to say, I think she's telling the truth, honestly.
Well,
I have a feeling that she's being truthful here.
I also agree. I made the 1,000 condom remark when I didn't know she had such short hair. There's no way someone with this short hair is using condoms. They don't care.
What we would purchase or what we would need.
When the package arrived, Engelhardt's husband was in the hospital recovering from an illness, and she says they have no idea why the box containing over 1,000 of them showed up.
We really can't understand what exactly took place and why.
Did her husband order them? I wonder.
He's been in the hospital. He's pent up.
Yeah.
Package at our house.
They became more concerned when Amazon billed their credit cards.
That's ridiculous. I would be insanely pissed off about that.
Oh,
how could they? Yeah, that's nuts. And since when could you not just return an item to Amazon?
So they could get advertising on news shows like this. The perfect scam.
Scam.
Yeah, that's cheap marketing, honestly.
Better than Trojan Man. Do you remember the Trojan Man commercials?
I remember
It's
those.
not just cheap marketing. You're also getting $700 from some random woman who didn't even need the condoms. It's better than cheap marketing.
$670. Engelhardt says she was told because they were personal items, they could not be returned, and she had to pay up.
We clearly did not order this package. It's a lot of money.
I'm guessing someone like hacked into her account and ordered them. But why wouldn't? I guess as a prank. I don't know.
Yeah, it's got a prank is the only explanation. I feel like I've also got to say her house, like aesthetically, is very, very nice. Like the color coordination. Like I think that all of this leads me to believe she's absolutely truthful.
And she also was very mad that that Hillary didn't win.
No, she's Canadian. She doesn't care.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
The delivery is similar to a brushing scam. That's when vendors send packages to unsuspecting customers to boost their ratings with fake reviews.
Oh.
In this case,
These were great
Engelhardt
condoms.
was charged, which means her account may have been hacked.
There's definitely
she had to have been hacked.
In the incidence of these types of fraud.
If you receive an unwanted package, notify the retailer, attempt to identify the sender, check your account for recent orders, change your account passwords, and protect your identity. Engelhardt had been trying to get a refund for the past 4 months. When CTV News contacted Amazon, a spokesperson said, "It's our commitment to make things right for customers and to hold bad actors accountable." Amazon secured the customer's account and their money has been returned. Engelhardt was relieved to get her $670 back.
Thank you, CTV. We love you guys.
She was also told she could keep the items, though she's not sure what she'll do with them.
But I would perhaps try
I know what she'll do with them. It's a fucking
at
party at Rachel
price.
Maddow's Canadian residence. Let's go.
I love that she gets to keep the condoms. This is a very happy story. She's got to donate them to like a teen pregnancy center or Planned Parenthood. Do they have Planned Parenthood in Canada? Somewhere, I don't know.
Something. Well, they don't need it. They don't need it because their healthcare system covers it. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So they don't need like private organizations like that get public funding. It's all just like publicly funded. And also, another thing I learned, because I hang out with a lot of Canadians. And I learned, and I visited Canada multiple times throughout my life. I learned kind of recently they don't buy private health insurance there too. They don't buy private car insurance there. So yeah, they buy it from. It's like a public option that they have. There's no private car insurance there. It's all bought.
Are you fucking
There
kidding
shouldn't
me?
be. Anything that you have to have by the law shouldn't be fucking public.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Oh my God. Canadians, like, as if I wasn't already jealous.
Oh, when I go to Vancouver, I'm like, when I visit Vancouver, I'm like, this is what Seattle would be like if it was in Canada. And they have like nice public transit that like goes everywhere. Like you can get anywhere in like the major city. They have like a thing called the SkyTrain with like several lines that goes like all around everywhere. Here in Seattle, we have one train line that goes north and south. It's grown over the years, but that's it. But they're like, it's easy to get around everywhere through public transit and like, everything's just really nice there. It's one of the nicest cities ever, but Toronto's really nice too. Toronto's like what Chicago would be like if it was in Canada. Like it's a city the size of Chicago.
Miami's really nice though too. If you want to travel around Miami, all you have to do is get a sports car and some cocaine. It's better than the SkyTrain.
I'm Pat Foran.
Oh, he was talking about like, let's see.
Well, that was a happy ending.
Yeah, I'm glad that she got her money back. I actually don't know what she can do with all the condoms. Make like water balloons or something for a birthday party. Although it's just her and her husband, so maybe I genuinely don't know.
I think with her husband in the hospital, she should have a fucking pineapple porch party and invite everybody over to just blow her back out, and she can lay next to him for a while. It's Canada, like they have health insurance.
She can give them away. She can give them away on Halloween to the trick-or-treaters.
I don't need kids with condoms, okay? I want more Republican voters.
Oh.
Just drive around and throw them at people's houses.
Put them in people's mailboxes.
Yeah, condom fairy.
Yeah.
Just bring them to Surrey on the King George Highway.
She can inflate them and make them into a giant turkey for their Thanksgiving centerpiece. And their Thanksgiving is coming up. It's in October.
Right, that's true.
It's always on Columbus Day. It's the same day as Columbus Day.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I was wondering.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because I host a podcast with two other Canadians, or two Canadians, I should say, Leftist Mafia. And so we always take the American Thanksgiving off, obviously, or we did last year. But I'm like thinking, wait, their Thanksgiving is coming up in October. So like, what day is that? Is that a Thursday? Because our show's on Thursdays. We're going to miss the show. But okay, that's easy to remember. Columbus Day.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure if it was done that way on purpose or if it's just a complete coincidence, but it is always the same day as Columbus Day every year.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have like cranberry sauce and all the they do all the staples.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The Thanksgiving Day meal in Canada is very similar to what you'd find in the U.S.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The
We all
only
might
real
have to-
difference.
Sorry, go ahead, Billy.
The only real difference is they stuff the turkey with beets.
Yummy.
Is that true?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That would be really weird. I guess we'll all have to get accustomed to Thanksgiving being in October when we have to flee to Canada.
Yeah.
When the Republicans go full fascist or something. I don't know.
I usually try to visit up there at least once a year. You know, when I was younger, I lived in Ohio, so I would go up to Toronto every summer, and since I was living out here, I was going up there at least once a year, and then they closed the border for 2 years, and I just hadn't been there up until like just in April. But it's like a good it's like refreshing to go up there to like get out of America for a couple days. I like it.
Just to know what it feels like to be in a stable political environment.
Yeah, I was hanging out with Adam from Your Movie Sucks while I was up there, and we went to
I love him.
He's great. We went to the store where they're selling totally pure, like tested for purity recreational drugs of all kinds. Like we got this tea made out of cocaine. We had cocaine tea. It's like a cafe. It has tables and everything. They have like pure LSD shooters. You could do like little LSD shooters.
What?
Shrooms, DMT, like so many things there.
No kidding.
And they let the locals bring in their street drugs and they'll test them for them to see if they're dirty, like if there's fentanyl in them or anything like that.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's like that's what we should do here. That's common sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved it up there. And Vancouver's almost like the Amsterdam of North America, because they've been like testing the limits of a lot of that kind of stuff for a while. And that's like the first place in North America that weed was de facto legal even before it was on the books, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was not aware of this, but I mean, it's nice that like, you know, I live in Oregon, so on the West Coast as well. It's very close. So, you know, in the event I ever were to flee, I'd go to Vancouver, hopefully.
It's great up there.
I love how I'm talking about fleeing seriously, but unironically.
I haven't been back to Canada since they raised the age of consent to 16 years old. Used to be 14. That has nothing to do with why I haven't gone back to Canada. It just happened to be around the same time they made it so you couldn't drive up without a passport or a enhanced ID. You used to be able to just go up with your birth certificate and an ID. It's just weird that those two things happen to change around the same time, because I haven't been back to Canada since they raised the age of consent from 14 to 16.
Was it
in
really
1890?
14?
Yeah, in 1890 the age of consent was 12 in Canada.
Why do you know all
They raised it
this?
to 14 in 1890. Why do I know all this?
Yeah.
Because I just looked it up to make that joke.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, Billy, the specificity with which you
Yeah.
are speaking about this is
No, 'cause
worrying me.
I was there, and the guys were like, "Yeah, dude, the age of consent here is 14." I was like, "What?
Oh my
what?"
god.
And I was like, "What?" And I was
What'd
like,
you-
"What?" And then I looked it up because I knew it had changed, and I was like, "When did it change?" Because I wanted to make sure I wasn't off on the joke, and it changed in 2008, which happened to be the last time I went there. That's around the time they changed the birth certificate thing, where you had to have an enhanced ID or a passport to get into Canada. So the joke wrote itself, guys.
I'm
I
glad you
wish I would've went to
explained it 'cause I was
Degrassi
like, Billy,
with
what
Drake.
the fuck?
Those are the best ones.
Yeah, all my friends went to Canada before we were 21. Like when they were 19, they
Yeah.
went, and I did not go. I was one of the losers who did not go. I was still very much like a little Christian good boy when I was 19, so I didn't go. But they all
I did that too. It was only like an hour drive away from where I lived at the time to cross the border.
Oh, nice.
Because like Detroit, Michigan is right on the border of Canada. Like you can see Canada like across the river. So we would go there, and the town that's like right there across the border is just like filled with drunk American 19-year-olds. I'm sure they're sick of it there, but I'm sure it brings in money too. Yeah, here's the
They're sick of making money.
Here's it looks so official and like professional. Like, yeah, you can buy microdoses of LSD.
Wow.
And
that is really, really cool.
Here's the cactuses and proscaline, which I'd never heard of before. Mescaline analog. I don't know. Yeah.
No shit.
Yep. And there's the cocaine tea. It's the best cup of coffee I ever had in my life.
And Anita Sarkeesian in the background.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that really?
No. You know what, though?
Like, that's a coincidence. Holy shit.
He never says anything to take seriously. Just assume everything he's saying. And then when he does and no one like takes him seriously, he'll be like, "What?"
Ben's wrong, but also Ben famously took a picture of Anita Sarkeesian in a game store.
I did.
So I was making a callback joke because not only do I take things seriously, I'm seriously, intelligently, hilariously funny.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why I thought, oh, was it again? Like, do you all know each other?
I would not. I would not randomly run into Anita Sarkeesian in Vancouver. Hopefully not. I did run into her once.
In a cocaine bar.
It's
God, it looks like a small coffee shop. They've got chips. Like,
yeah,
this is what needs to happen. Like, this is the dream.
Yeah, the mini microdose is $1.50. A low microdose is $3. We got like flavored.
God.
Like me and Adam went in there, and at first we were worried that the tea would get us too high, so we shared the first one. And then after we finished it, we were just like, let's get another one. It was pretty great.
That is great. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you guys get another one each, or did you share a second one?
I'm trying to remember. We may have shared a second one, or I can't remember, honestly.
I'm going to say another one each if you can't remember.
Okay. It does make the story
Wow.
sound better. Yeah, look at those giant shrooms. Oh my god. I didn't get any of that because I was like afraid I was gonna get all like crazy tripped out, and I was like walking around in a city that I don't live in, so I didn't.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
a penis.
Penis envy.
penis envy.
$69 penis envy.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yep. 7.88
Wow,
grams.
This is mind blowing. I had no idea about this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so crazy how close it is
Wow.
too. Like,
right.
I usually just take Amtrak up there, so I don't need to worry about my car. And then there's a SkyTrain station right at the Amtrak station up there, and then you can just get wherever you want from there. And I just we went in there, and it was kind of mind blowing, like how just like how different things are up there altogether too, with how close it is. Like there's an imaginary line. And then, like, all of a sudden, it's, like, so different. But also so much the same. Like
right.
if no one's traveled internationally before, if you go to Canada, it's like the closest thing to America that's a different country, but it's still like noticeably different.
It's just America, but much, much better. And the people are much nicer.
Yeah.
It's America
But
with
for good
French
reason.
subtitles.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they have more. I mean, there's problems in Canada, obviously, but I mean, they have much more reasons to be happier. I mean, you don't have to pay fucking $900 a month for healthcare, and apparently there's a public car insurance. Like that's amazing.
Chance of getting shot is also way lower.
Right. That's very
And the
important.
women in Canada aren't conditioned to think men are pigs.
I don't know if that's
and
true.
they say a boot.
A boot, yeah, I do. I can sniff
like
out
that a lot.
I can sniff out a Canadian accent usually within the first sentence of them saying.
Oh,
something.
yeah.
It's the vowels. It's how they say the vowels.
Absolutely. I was watching this dude who's an America First dude, and he was talking about how
The red-haired
he wants Trump
guy?
to be a dictator. Yes.
Yep.
And I was listening to him talk about it. No, I want a dictator Trump. And then he said a boat. I'm like, wait, hang on a second.
Yep.
And I Googled him and found out he's a Canadian. I'm like, hang on, motherfucker. You don't get to say that we need to be a dictatorship when you're not even a fucking American.
I thought he
Like,
was
what?
a troll at first because his shtick at first was Canada first, and I thought he was
Yeah.
just a guy that was like parodying Nick Fuentes, but he ended up just being one of them. Just like he was inspired by Nick Fuentes, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he started off as like a parody and then was like, oh, actually, I'm kind of getting some attention and money for this. So maybe I'll dive right in. But yeah, I snuffed that shit out like a truffle pig. I was
Yeah.
like, this dude is Canadian. He said a boot. I heard that.
Yeah. Sorry. They say sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, and they apologize a lot too. And I know this because I used to watch Canadian Big Brother. And every time there was like a blow up in a fight, they'd apologize like 5 minutes later. I'm like, damn, you're not even going to let it marinate. Like, let the feelings drift away a little bit before you start apologizing. And it's always that sorry, man.
That's also their way of saying like excuse me in public. Like if they almost run into you, it's like sorry. Or they say
Oh,
ope.
okay.
Ope is another thing. Ope. Like
Oh. Okay, okay. I think I probably heard that as well.
Yeah.
I also learned about toque. That's
a
a
toque.
beanie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought so. I used to work with this lady who was Canadian, and she would lie constantly. And she's like, "Oh, I got to put on my toque." That's what we called it in Canada. I'm like, "You're so fucking full of shit. That is too stupid to be real. You lie about everything." I didn't believe her, and then no, apparently that was the one thing she told the truth about. It's toque is a beanie.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah. It is really weird. I first saw that word written and I didn't know how to say it. Like
how is it spelled?
It's got a Q in it. Let's see.
Oh.
Yeah, you think it's like
I don't think I've
TOOK, but they also spell check with a Q, by the way, also.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. And they say Z instead of Z.
Yeah, that's like a British thing. It's spelled TOQUE.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
One toke over the line, sweet.
I would not have
one toke over the
known
line.
that.
Yeah. It almost
weird.
I would sound it out like toque or toque, not
Yeah.
toque.
Yeah, that's really weird. Canadians.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know about some of these things, but I'm very, very envious. Okay. See, and that doesn't look like
What's
a beanie
that?
right there.
What's that collar thing called there?
I guess this is what they originally called a toque, and then it
Okay.
says for the modern headwear in Canada known as a toque, see knit cap. So they have it. So
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
So they're just like, yeah, they call it that in Canada, but this is a knit cap.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They spelled toque differently at the bottom there too. TOUQUE and TUQQE.
Oh, yeah. See, that would make more sense to me.
Yeah, either of those makes more sense than the to Q or not to Q.
The toque.
Weird.
Toque.
Yeah, that is weird.
Le Toque. Quebec. Le Toque.
So weird.
La Toque.
Do you ever try to pronounce things intentionally Canadian, like a boot or sorry, so people don't know you're from America or they think you're Canadian?
No, but that would be funny. I could, like, if I went to Europe or something, I could get away with saying I'm Canadian because people there don't know the difference, like how you speak. Up there, I'd be afraid. Like, if I was up there trying to act like I was Canadian, I'd be afraid I'd fuck up. And like,
yeah, they would be able to sniff you out. I think
probably.
Like, you American
I've been
liar.
told on multiple occasions that I fuck like a Canadian.
Oh, I need more details. How did they?
I don't know what it means. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, oh, you don't know? I thought you were Canadian. I'm like, no. And I'm like, it's so confusing.
Was this before 2008?
No. Anybody in chat could tell me why I would fuck like a Canadian? Could you please do it in the form of a $5 to $10 to $20 to $30 to $100 donation, please?
Well, I mean, if they have Brazilian farts, then they've got to have Canadian fucks, right?
I do love the Quebecois fart porn.
Oh my god,
it smells like poutine.
Oh my god.
Oui.
I've got to say, poutine is very good.
It is.
And one thing that I do like is Tim Hortons. I've never been in a Tim Hortons, but the brand Tim Hortons chips usually pretty good.
Oh yeah, they have them.
Tim Hortons has one of the grossest donuts in history. If you go to Tim Hortons and order a Dutchie, it's probably the only bad donut. A Dutchie is just shit. It's like a raisin cake garbage bar.
See, I like raisins, but I mean, in a donut, well, I guess it depends if it's kind of like a bear claw or like cinnamony or a cinnamon roll-y. I don't know.
That all sounds better than this Dutchie was. This Dutchie, I felt like I was eating somebody's depressing survival bar. I was like, what the hell are you doing, Tim Horton?
Interesting.
What are you doing in my life? I don't need this fucking hockey puck.
Let's see.
Is this what they're saying a Dutchie is? Look at this sorry slop.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a bear claw in a way. I'll admit, though, I wouldn't.
It looks like a sad bear claw.
This wouldn't be my first choice if I were to get a donut.
What does this say?
What is
Tim Hortons issues apology for 5 decades of forgetting to put hole in Dutchies.
They are sorry.
Sorry.
That's true, Seth looks. That's 100% true. We're sorry. We didn't put a hole in the Dutchie. We're sorry.
So it was supposed to have a hole and now it does? Is that what's going on? Wow. I like how this is news.
I heard that they fucked the holes into the Dutchies because they're that worthless. Can you go back or is it too late?
No, it's not too late.
What's this thing down there with a giant red beet in it? Was I right about them stuffing things with beets in Canada? This donut on the very bottom level on the pictures?
Okay,
what is in there?
What, this?
That looks...
It's like jelly.
What?
Oh.
What?
The Priestley.
What is that? The Priestley? Is that... They make a donut after Jason Priestley?
I think so.
That looks
Why is it a big red glob? This looks like somebody's had a very bad morning.
It is.
The Priestley donut is shown in a handout photo from Tim Hortons. Vancouver-born celebrity Jason Priestley will help Tim Hortons pick the winner of a contest that's launched asking Canadians to design a new donut. And they designed this. They're like, let's just put an entire red beet in the middle of a donut.
Strawberry vanilla.
That's way too much stuff.
Oh, it's a chocolate Timbit stuff. What is a chocolate Timbit? Like
Timbits are donut holes.
So it's.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is. So it's a Timbit wrapped in blood, stuffed into the womb of a donut.
That's a donut in a donut. I see.
That's a pregnant donut. The Priestley is a pregnant donut. I got some bad news, man. This vanilla donut, that baby's dead. Not vanilla.
It probably would be good, but it does not look appetizing in the photo. It just looks very off-putting.
With the red?
Yeah, with the red just...
It's like, we have this donut. It's stuffed with a blood booger. How would you like a nice blood booger?
It's like if you're in Canada,
crap.
you've got to get a maple donut. Like I feel like
a bacon maple bar.
That's the go-to.
A maple bar is good. Bacon maple is more American, but a maple bar is a great Canadian choice. I think if I was Jason Priestley, I would sue them over that placenta donut. That was gross. A maple. You know what they have? This is the one. Have you had a Canadian maple?
No.
Okay, so have you had a Boston cream?
Yes.
A Boston cream is a Canadian maple is a Boston cream with maple on top instead of chocolate.
Oh, that'd be good.
It's really good. It's a maple donut with cream custard filling. It's so good. The Canadian maple is probably.
Now.
I'm sorry. You're near. Are you near a Voodoo? Can you get to a Voodoo?
It's like 20 minutes away.
I think they have Canadian maple there. I don't know. You should call ahead and see.
I haven't had Voodoo in so long.
Yeah.
It's good though. Lots and lots of sugar though. I think I had my brother brought Voodoo and I had 2 donuts and I got like really sick from all the sugar, but it was good. It was worth it.
What's up with Canadians that care about American politics? What's up with the rest of the world caring about American politics?
I think it's because the first thing is that it's entertaining and they don't have to live it. The second thing is that whatever America does, they know they're going to get fucked probably the hardest. So I don't know. At least in America, it's kind of like they're emulating our politics. Like our right wingers go crazy and shit themselves, then their right wingers start doing it too. So they're probably watching, just wondering what's going to happen next. It's a bit of a prediction.
They're like, okay, America is the canary in the coal mine.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, they had the, there's a really big like anti-vax movement in the United States, and then there was the trucker movement. Our Republican Party goes far right. There's the Tea Party, and then there's a far right emerging in Canada. Although that's not necessarily unique to the U.S. and Canada. It's happening all over. Because you're so polite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Canadians are just so polite.
It seems like if they're far right and they're in Canada, they just move to the States. They move in with Nick Fuentes in his Chicago compound or something like that. Actually, one of Nick Fuentes' buddies from Cozy TV, the platform he started when he got kicked off of YouTube, that Canadian guy moved in with him and they were like living in Florida together. Remember that when that guy came to interview them, Billy? Remember we saw that video? Yeah, like a local news guy found out that they were like living in his neighborhood and that they were America First guys, and they came and interviewed them, and they thought they looked cool, but they were just making fools out of themselves the whole time.
Yeah. They have no
that sounds like the America First Party to me.
Yeah.
That's a succinct description of what America First has been.
Yeah.
Our fan chat, pleb chat, Julia Rule says, are there any David Cronenberg donuts, Billy? Those are called the Cronin nuts. You ever have a cronut? They're like a croissant donut.
I have not.
I had one when I was in Manhattan in 2020. The Cronin nut. Cronut.
They're
not that great, but they're okay.
Oh.
This is when they did a Ye is Right campaign when Kanye was like saying all the anti-Semitic stuff on TV.
Boris.
And they found out that they lived in Florida, so they came and tried to interview them. Yeah, and the guy on the left is the America First Canadian guy. And the other guy is Dalton Clodfelter, who's just like... I honestly think that they're all just... Maybe they're in a polyamorous relationship with each other or something. I don't know.
I mean, Nick Fuentes wasn't he with the cat boy?
Yes.
Not like officially with, but I mean,
on
when
a
you
date.
saw them together, yeah, it looked very, very not straight.
No.
It was the happiest I've ever seen him.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
smiling. He was on Cloud Nine.
On Wednesday on Cozy.tv. Put this in there.
And he was willing to
Cozy.tv.
disavow all of his anti-homosexual antics. He was like, oh, guys, don't worry if he plays with dildos all the time on stream. He's based. He watched a Hitler documentary.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you fucking weirdo. You're willing to throw it all away, a gay cat boy, and try and excuse it because he watched one Hitler documentary?
It's funny how that Canadian dude is like LARPing as an American with his Bass Pro Shop hat and shit. Like, God, they're all such posers.
That's why I was saying, like, if they're like Canadian alt-right Nazi types, they'll probably just try to come down here if they can. Honestly, they're more free to do that here. There's hate speech laws up there that would ban like a rat, like the KKK can't march down a road up there like they can here. Like all they need is the permits here to do it. Like they can hold like a literal Nazi rally with like swastika armbands and like marching through the streets and everything if they want to, if they get permission to do it.
Yeah. So I mean, if we're gonna allow their Nazis to come here, then I feel like they should allow us to go there.
Yes.
You know, it's only fair.
I agree.
Please. Can we do a commie Nazi exchange program with Canada, please?
That would be incredible because I mean, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Land of the free, healthcare.
Yes.
One of the weird things up there is like their prime minister can get reelected indefinitely.
That I do find weird about parliamentary systems.
Yeah.
Although I think they have do they have term limits in the UK? I don't know.
For prime minister,
sure.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And then there's also,
but it is weird to me that happens. I don't think I'm down for that, but I mean, they're much more functional than our political system. So who am I to judge? I do prefer parliamentary to presidential for sure. Although they still have like first past the post, winner take all, but I mean, it's still just overall so much more functional.
Yeah.
Yeah. Revolting Machine just writes, "Can I have healthcare, please?" Like, I'll settle for healthcare. Can we just, if anything, can we get some healthcare, please?
Could I have a healthcare?
Just one healthcare. What's Canada's NASA called?
Oh God, I have no idea. I don't even know if they have a space program. Let's see.
I think it's called CASA.
The CSA, the Canadian Space Agency, is what it's called.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah. I guess that's what it says.
Love your channel.
The Degrassi Galactic Federation.
We should have a woke LGBTQ march through a conservative neighborhood. Give them taste of their own medicine.
Thank you. Yes, that would be amazing. That would be great.
This is their
They would
logo.
just-
CSAASC.
They would just send the cops out to beat you down, right?
That would probably
Wouldn't
happen,
the cops be there?
unfortunately. Yeah. Depends on how conservative we're talking. But in any case, you'd probably still get beat up by the cops. So, yeah. The KKK marches happen in the United States because the cops join them, so they're allowed to happen.
The city I grew up in, we had there was a KKK march and there was a, like when I was in middle school, there was an organization called the National Socialist Party that came. That were like just a straight up Nazi group, like just trying to like dressing like a World War II era Nazi group. And there was a riot. It made the national news because there was like a literal riot. Yeah, they went to the neighborhood where the part of town where there's gangs and shit, and so like big swarms of like gang members were coming up and like trying to attack them, but then the cops had to defend the Nazi group because they were being attacked. so then like other people from the neighborhood started getting involved and everything, and then before you knew it, buildings were on fire.
The Crazy Cracker Clan.
Yeah.
The Crazy Cracker Clan.
Yeah. Yeah,
when they would have like the alt-right meetups here in Seattle, there'd be like less than 100 alt-righters, and there would be like a counter protest of thousands.
Yeah, that would be more likely.
Down there like, why are
here.
the police? Why are the police protecting the alt-righters? And it's like, well, because they're outnumbered by far.
Well, they have to if they have permission to be there, and they have they have the permit and everything, and like they're I mean. The First Amendment protects hate speech too, unfortunately, but it does. The way it's interpreted
now. They don't
now.
need the cops. The cops can deal with the crime after it's committed. They don't have to be personal security.
Well, part of it is that it's like, they're happy that they're working on the day of the KKK march because it's like, oh, I really wanted to attend this, but now I could just, I'm working doing security for it. It's the same thing that the Boogaloo Boys would say, like when they would show up to Black Lives Matter protests armed, they'd be like, oh no, we're just doing security. It's like, if you press them, it's like, okay, who are you doing security for? The people marching or the buildings that you're afraid of getting broken into? Oh, it's the buildings, definitely. Yeah. So that's the cops in this instance. Oh, is this footage of it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting.
But no violence.
This is, you know what? This is the one this is the one that happened years later. They came back again. This isn't the one where the riot happened. But yeah, like it was, like now there's like the crypto fascists that don't claim to be Nazis. They're like, we're not Nazis, we're just asking questions. They do that. And then and these guys are like, I guess, old school Nazis where they actually just say they are and they actually wear the swastikas and stuff like that.
I think the crypto fascists are called bored apes now.
Oh my God.
I want to show them up close.
What is up with that young boy? He is red in the head. Holy shit.
For the NSM members, some took a much different
Jesus
approach.
save.
That guy had a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 shirt, so this is what, like circa 2017?
I just want to point out right behind this guy, Coney Island hot dog. Delicious. Just want to point that out.
This guy's sign is beautiful.
You hate me, I love you.
What a good sign.
I hate it.
Crypto
Fuck 'em.
fascists
You hate me,
sound
I hate
like
you.
someone who's either really into Bitcoin and Hitler or a Sasquatch Nazi.
Okay, hold up. A Sasquatch Nazi, that has to exist. Like, who's done art of a Sasquatch Nazi? I kind of want to see it.
Hate me, I love you.
They just need to be told, or somebody needs to let them know that they're loved too, and that somebody loves them. And I think that's the message.
Ah, sweet boy.
A common argument
All the Nazis saw the sign and they're like, you know what? Maybe we're wrong. Maybe we've got to change our view on the world.
Oh my God, that sign.
That is like the most liberal mentality I've ever seen in my entire life, and I hate it so much.
Hubert Wiggins asked NSM Commander Jeff Scoop about that.
Save a country, hug a Nazi.
One of the greatest episodes of mass murder in the history of humankind.
I'm not going to entertain that.
That guy, is that Gary Busey's grandson back there?
I don't believe in the Holocaust myth, and it's not something
Flea.
that
Flea from Back to the Future is in the middle of the other rear. These guys look like they're in a goddamn Nazi brigade.
Yeah, the one who's to the left of the guy talking genuinely looks like he's inbred. Master race, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
His face is melting down into his neck.
I hate how the news can never balance their audio properly.
Yeah.
It's either all the way left or all the way right.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that explains the news.
Good one. Yeah, but that was one of many examples. For some reason, hate groups, they like to like most of them came from other cities or like other states even, but they wanted to come to our city and cause riots. So
they target liberal cities like Portland and Seattle just because they know they'll get the biggest response, and the biggest headlines. So I feel like it's probably like it's intentional for sure.
Yeah, my city had a pretty large African American population too. So they would go to like their neighborhoods and march down the street with swastikas, like trying to start shit. So
they're so fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
It is one thing that kind of gives me hopium is to see like the response whenever there's like more counter protesters, than them. It's nice to see just to have people come together. But I mean, it still doesn't change the fact that the attention that they're getting is what they want. So yeah, there's so many Nazis in Florida all the time. Like if you ever see outside of the Disney World sign, like Nazis have been protesting there, I think like twice in the last couple of months. And they're also neo-Nazis too with like swastikas.
Yeah.
And there's a video, I don't know where they were. I think this was also in Florida where they were just like was a news person walking along and just like a ton of Nazis just all. Maybe it was like an interstate highway. It was from like a month or so ago. But yeah, I hate that the Nazis are like back and they're like out and proud. They need to go back into the closet.
Yeah, and it's like, was it the whole? Was it was it like the Richard Spencer stuff that kind of like got that back running again, or was it? Because
I think that was just kind of like when they became more emboldened after Donald Trump. That and probably Charlottesville, I'm assuming, but it's kind of been like a gradual buildup as well over the last couple of years in particular states and stuff. But I think they've probably always been present, or I know they've always been present, but like lately it's kind of like a little bit safer to come out in the country, given that a lot of people in power agree with them, and a lot of cops agree with them. So it's, you know,
Kanye West agrees with them.
Kanye West agrees. They had that banner. Kanye West was is right. So yeah, and Kanye West is like, he's being brought out at concerts again. It's like these people talk about cancel culture. Like, he just said that there's a lot of things that he loves about Hitler, and like Travis Scott is bringing him out. Hey, everybody, it's Kanye.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Well,
you want to be with a
did
Nazi
pay
guy?
what? He paid like $1.5 billion to say that, didn't he? Like, he lost a lot of money.
He lost a lot of money.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, which is good. But I feel like he didn't lose enough for that. Like, we should be at a point where it is never, ever safe to like come out and be a Nazi. Like, you should literally lose everything.
I think we should be at a point where you should be able to speak about things like this so that we can then say, no, that's stupid, and explain why it's stupid, instead of just cutting it off and allowing everybody who champions this anti-Semitic behavior to be like, see what they do, see what he's been silenced, his money's been taken, they'll destroy it. Just be like, look, you're obviously mentally ill, things are going down right now, you have a problem, this is dumb. We should be able to talk about things without having to cancel people. But I feel like we don't have a good enough discussion anywhere to actually speak about things. Everything's so flimsy on both sides. There's this house of cards that if you start talking,
dudes more to
it all falls down.
Who would be a proto-Nazi? Tsar Nicholas II, maybe, cause of his virulent anti-Semitism.
Yeah, see, I used to think that too, but I've completely changed my stance on that. I think that every single one of these fucks should be deplatformed. They should be denied a speech. They should be denied everything, because deplatforming does work. And even if, you know, there's this argument, oh, they're going to play the victim, I think they're going to do that anyway. Like with Russell Brand, like his whole defense is, oh, well, you know, they're accusing me of rape because I'm getting a little bit too close to the truth. So there's always going to be that built-in like conservative victim complex. But I think that the best thing to do is to make it very socially unacceptable. So that way you're afraid to hold a swastika sign, you know, because maybe somebody's going to come and beat your ass. Like, I want them to be that afraid. I want them to lose their jobs. I want them to kill themselves. Like, I think that the worst thing should happen to them. Because, I mean, this is what they want, right? It's kind of like the Karl Popper's paradox of tolerating intolerance, right? If you allow so much intolerance, then the whole scheme like of tolerance collapses in on itself. So I think that you've really got to make Nazis miserable, and by any means you could do that, I think you should do it.
I don't know, because I'm a little bit older and I remember when the Nazis would just be jokes on Howard Stern or on Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
And they'd be on and they'd be allowed their platform, and they were so goofy and nobody took them seriously. And we were just like, here, say what you want to say. It's stupid. America does not agree with you. We're moving forward without you. But then we're like, oh, we have to silence them. And now it's like we have this boogeyman that one person can use to be virtuous, and the other people will now use as a mascot for why they're not free anymore in America. And it's fucking, it's tough. Like I see your side of things, obviously, but I remember when we literally just mocked these fucking people. They were out in the open. We were like, oh, nobody takes you seriously. But
no, I absolutely see your point. I think that you want to ultimately, ideally, you want to live in a pluralistic society where censorship is never a thing, never needed. But I think that we're kind of in an era where things are so bad and people are so desperate that they're overly susceptible to radicalization. And I think that you have to take drastic action here because it's one of those situations where even if most people can laugh at them, there's still enough people that don't laugh at them, that take them seriously, to where it's a problem. So like earlier when we were talking about negative engagement farming, like with Just Pearly things, like when she says stupid shit like, yeah, women shouldn't vote, she did her Hitler song. I think that the overwhelming majority of people who saw that, they thought she was stupid, right? Like we did laugh at her and stuff, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the caveat is that there's still a small percentage that takes her seriously. And the most recent example that like horrified me, I don't know if you all talked about it on the show or not, is Sneeko. He ran into his fans in real life. They look like maybe 11, 12. And they were like, hey, gay people should die. And we hate women. Fuck women. And he's like, no, we love everyone. We don't hate women. And he's like, oh my God, what have I done? But then he went back on the internet and started to double down. So it's like we're kind of in this situation in the age of social media. We need to learn how to navigate this. And we just haven't at this point. And I think that we've gone in the opposite direction where it's like, oh my God, if you ban someone, then that's censorship. And it might make people want to seek them out. And I think that that's true to an extent. I think that what you're saying does have merit for sure. But I think that ultimately, at this point in time, there's more examples of deplatforming working than not working. Take Tucker Carlson, for example. He lost the #1 news slot on the most popular platform, Fox News, and now he's irrelevant. I mean, he's on Twitter. He trends. He did his Obama is gay story.
Yeah.
There's Milo Yiannopoulos. There's Alex Jones, not as popular. So I think that because people are getting radicalized and literally becoming like Nazis and right-wing terrorists, I'm much more side with the people who are like, fuck it, deplatform all of them. I used to be on the opposite side though, Billy, for sure. I was like with you where it's like, no, I think that honestly, it's probably like, there's the saying sunlight is the best infectant, right? Where it's like, no, just let them talk because they're kind of hanging themselves. But I think that it's changed to the point where now the dumbest views, they get popular or they gain traction because they're so stupid. And even though everyone is laughing at this clown shit, there's enough people that believe them to where it's like, okay, something needs to be done. And I don't think that deplatforming and censorship is like the end all be all. I think that in some instances it's certainly important. I think that Just Pearly things, Andrew Tate, they should be straight up deplatformed. I wouldn't be in favor of deplatforming someone like Ben Shapiro or Joe Rogan, right? Like, not anyone who disagrees with me, but just like actual rapists and Nazis. I think they should be deplatformed. But it needs to go deeper than that, right? Like there needs to be a much more long-term intelligent solution than just like deplatforming, because it's not going to work and you can't do it piecemeal like that,
When you say actual rapists and Nazis should be deplatformed, I think the thing that worries me a little bit is when we start determining people are rapists and Nazis just to deplatform them without the proof it takes.
Sure.
It becomes weaponized. And me being somebody who plays a rapist and a Nazi on this Drunken Peasants podcast pretty regularly, I'm a little worried about getting the big old D. I don't want to take the D.
What I mean is like someone like Andrew Tate, who's like, he's charged with human trafficking. And on top of like the criminality, like he is spreading horrible, horrible ideas. I think that someone like that, right? Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be scrupulous and rigorous. Like, I think that there are, what I'm mostly referring to are like the really clear examples of the people who are just obvious grifters and what they're doing is very toxic. Like the Andrew Tates, the Sneekos, the Just Pearly things of the world. Any of like those weird, like, black pill or not black pill, red pill people, like the fresh and fit dudes. Deplatform all of them. Like they are training an entire generation of young men to be extremely misogynistic, dabbling in Nazism, bringing on Nick Fuentes. I think that those are lines that are okay to draw. I think that society should draw those lines, right?
Are they a lost generation? Are these boys that are following Andrew Tate and the like, are they lost because they're not being catered to through the media the way they were 10 years ago because Brie Larson is their superhero and not Spider-Man?
I don't think that they're lost, honestly, because like if I believe that somebody was a lost cause, then I think I would be a lost cause, right? Because I was raised in a very evangelical household, really conservative, socially conservative, and now I am the opposite of that. So I think that if you're young, odds are, at least hopefully, you're going to grow out of it. So like those young Sneako fans, I'm hopeful enough to think that those young men are going to grow up eventually, and they're going to have a change of tune. But not all of them, you know? So, and I think that there is a lot of things that are kind of not dealt with in society that exacerbates the problem, which is why I say that deplatforming isn't the end all be all, because a lot of this radicalization is happening because I don't think that, you know, there is enough resources for people experiencing, you know, mental health crises, young men experiencing, you know, loneliness, young women too, right? But there needs to be, you know, they can't fill the void of loneliness with, oh, it's because women are bad. It has to be like, okay, what is missing there? Is it economic issues? Like there's deeper things that just haven't gone addressed that we can address pretty easily. Like, I mean, in this country, just a couple of years ago, we cut childhood poverty in half. And then it went way back up because the child tax credit ended. So like there's things that you can do to just make people in better situations to where they don't turn to like these weird black pill, red pill content creators. Well,
isn't it true if we give the children, if we take the children out of poverty, they grow up to be blue hair communists?
I mean, not necessarily, right?
Okay, good.
Not necessarily.
That's what Sneako told me.
Yeah, did you, Billy, did you take his class? You know, he was teaching like online classes.
Yes, I thought it was a Magic the Gathering tournament.
Yeah, he was basically he was doing the same shit that Andrew Tate was doing, where he was like, "Oh, I'll teach you how to be a true man and like how to get women and red pill shit, you know, that kind of thing." But I guess Sneako's. I saw a thing recently where he said he was retiring from that and he's going to do IRL streaming now. Like that's his thing. Such a weird shift.
God,
he's gonna ride that Fousey train.
If he had any morals, he would delete his channel and like rethink his position. If he was actually shocked by like what his fans said, I think he would make some different decisions. But I mean, he's probably making millions of dollars. So
he claims to be like a devout Muslim, and he's like, it was weird. I remember he made this video defending the movie Cuties and saying that it's actually a movie that teaches about Islamic values.
What the fuck? That movie is extremely creepy.
People still talk about it too. It's really old. It came out like 5 years ago, right? Like
no, 5,
6, or 4 maybe. Pre-pandemic for sure.
It was 3 years ago. It was 2020.
Okay,
it was 2020.
I hear people still bringing it up, and it's like it's such an old movie, but people still use it.
Did you see Sneako had a
because they haven't made a cool.
Moist. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's because they haven't made a cool kitty diddler film since Cuties.
Yeah, I mean it's it's very, very gross. He was explaining it. Him and Moist Critical, Sneako and Moist Critical had like a conversation, and they talked about this. And he's like, "Did you watch the movie?" to Charlie, and Charlie's like, "Yeah, I did," and it's fucked up. And he was like still defending it, and it was like, oh, because I didn't like, I heard about the movie, but I didn't know the specific details, so I learned about it through that conversation. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is actually really, really not okay. This is really fucked up, actually, and he's defending it, which kind of leads me to think, okay, this dude is really messed up. I know that like there's some weird lore with Sneako, to where he kind of went down this path because he got cucked. Like he watched his girlfriend get fucked by another guy, and he never was the same since, right? So he was kind of like a lefty supporter early in his career,
and
it was interesting.
He admitted, he was having like a conversation on his friend's podcast and the subject of that came up. And when he told the story, he didn't, like, he talked about the experience negatively, but it didn't seem like it was something that, like, trauma, like, he didn't have trouble talking about it in a public forum and, like, kind of laughing about it to a degree. But I think because he's gotten trolled about it so much since then, and he's tried to change his persona into, like, Andrew Tate Jr., basically, that, you know, he now acts like it was like a horrible thing that he regrets so much. It almost seems like he might have been, because they were like going to swinger parties and stuff like that. I think it happened more than once, for sure.
Pineapple on the door.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I do think, like, to your point, Billy, I think there does need to be like kind of a left opposite version of that. And there is. So on my podcast with other folks, Leftist Mafia, we brought on a guy named Carr, and he kind of does like content for like young men. And it's like, hey, this is how you can be a man, you know, and rather than doing all the, hey, you know, you got to fuck women and this and that, it's about like, hey, empathy and caring. Because part of the problem is that, like, we're all kind of isolated in society. I think COVID absolutely didn't help with that. But, like, we're all kind of isolated. And if you're young, there's no, like, your economic prospects are shit. And so there's no, like, guide to here's what you do next when you turn 18. And so, like, to have some sort of guidance is why they kind of go down this path, because they see Jordan Peterson, and then from him they dive into more conservative politics, and they find maybe, I don't know, Andrew Tate. I don't know what the rabbit hole is, but you know what I mean? Like, where they try to find like that guiding, like, it goes back to the whole, like, well, why do Republicans talk about trans people so much? It's because they're trying to find a scapegoat to distract you, right? So you don't engage in class warfare against the rich. And this is kind of the same thing, where it's like, okay, why am I lost? Oh, because I don't have a guide. I find a guide, and it happens to be this fuckhead Andrew Tate, who's telling me that, you know, women are terrible and they should be abused. And so I think that there's a lot, like, we need to do some soul searching as a society, but I don't know where to start. You know what I mean? Like this, it's kind of a bad time right now.
I think I need to be the voice for these little boys. There needs to be a left Alex Jones, and that should be me. I could get all these little whippersnappers into shape, like saying that you have to be have to have empathy, like that Carr guy. The way you explained him, you got to be the Mr. Rogers of fucking if you're gonna come from that level, right? You can't just teach them the talking points and the ideas to get to be empathetic. You have to show why it benefits them. You gotta be like, look, women are wonderful and they want to be abused. They want to be abused within the realms of like sexual comfort. They want to be choked. They want all this stuff, but you have to be good at it. You can't just come in and be abusive. You have to abuse needs to be one of your many tools to love. And it's many tools.
I feel like you might want to workshop it, but there is a point that needs to be filled. Maybe workshop it a little bit more.
Okay. I'll work on it.
You know, you at first you were headed in a really good direction, and then you're like gonna off the globe. You can get back on track.
Because I think people get hung up on the words I use. Abuse can mean many things. The abuse that we crave, you know, it's a kink. People have to be open about kinks. I'm tired of being kink shamed just because, not me, I don't want to abuse women. The women yearn for it, and they find it in toxic areas. They find it in actual abusive people. You have to be able to learn to use the sword before you can swing it. And that's the problem. These guys are out here cutting everybody up because they don't know how to hold the axe. Got to teach these kids.
I feel like you know, the need for this, I can't really meet that need myself. I don't think that they would consider me like an alpha male or a sigma, as the kids would say these days. So somebody else has got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, if I wasn't so busy making people laugh, I would make people better. I feel like laugh is the quick fix.
We all have a calling. Yeah, yours is laughter. Ben's laughter. You know, I feel like we all have our roles to play, right? Not everyone can be the response
I'm like morphine.
to the alpha.
And I am an alpha. Like if I wanted to switch, I could whip people into shape pretty quickly. The one thing about people is they're all needy. They all need something other than the alphas. The only thing that makes you an alpha is that you get what you need. Everyone else who's not alpha, they're needing something. And once you give it to them, that's one step closer to them being the apex redditor.
Yeah.
But we live in a society that makes money off of people needing things. We're groomed by madmen in ad agencies to never be happy. And that's why a guy like me can't exist.
Well, here's some hopium, though. I think that there is a good opportunity of a leftist succeeding at this type of thing, because all of these folks, like the Andrew Tates of the world, like, what is he charging? How much money per month is he charging for Hustlers University? Like, the left would offer this for free, right? We're socialists, right? It's free. Just advertise.
Yeah, because Soros pays all of our bills anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't need money. We got daddy.
We don't need money. We got Soros money.
Yeah.
He's going to die eventually, though.
Yeah,
he'll leave his money to us, won't he?
I don't know. I don't know.
I was going to say, they're
when
going
he
to need
dies,
a
aren't
new
we
one
all in his
soon.
will?
Can we ask him to leave his supply of adrenochrome behind too, please? We need that. I need to stay young forever.
And those righties will keep making us babies. As long as abortion's illegal, we'll keep having our adrenochrome, Ben.
Damn.
Those righties are playing right into our traps.
Let me get my straw ready. Yeah, I just crack that into a kid's head like a bottle of Capri Sun. Damn. Just poke it right in there.
You know, they have a adrenochrome version of the Life Straw. You know, the Life Straw where it kind of like filters out all the contaminants in water.
Oh.
They have one for you just pop it in the neck like the Capri Sun straw, but it just extracts the adrenochrome exclusively.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
You know, in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Johnny Depp's character, he does adrenochrome and he like trips out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen that, or if I have.
It's a great
I have, but it's
movie.
been too long. I think it's been a really long time, so I don't remember a lot from it.
Yeah.
Although I could be thinking of something else.
And they said it was from like a human adrenal gland. It must be in the book because they put it in the movie. I don't know. But
weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a crazy movie. But when they take it, it's like they took some very powerful psychedelic drugs. I don't know.
Interesting.
In our one chat, our friend Alka Rats says you can buy it legally, and I'm like, what? You could buy adrenochrome? What? From what? Is it from like a different animal? Because like the whole thing that people say is like it's like the QAnon thing is that they take it from like human adrenal gland fluid.
Did they have it at that cafe you went to in Vancouver with Adam?
I wish.
They don't have everything yet.
They might have. Didn't you hear a baby crying in the background until like halfway through your shake? Adrenochrome on tap.
That's funny. I love how
we don't really eat children, by the way. Everybody watching right now, I just want to clear that up. We don't suck adrenochrome out of the backs or necks of children. That was a bit that we were doing. We have Mike from the Humanist Report on, who's a very serious fellow. He's a very esteemed colleague, and sometimes when he gets on, we get silly.
I love how we go through these phases whenever I'm on, and this is why I love coming on. We always talk about like serious stuff first, and then it always gets into some weird shit where you guys will inevitably introduce me to some weird ass character that I've never heard of before, and then we just talk about like farts or something for the rest of the show. Like it's
That is. Here's proof. Johnny Depp is one of the Hollywood elites, and he's doing adrenochrome right here. And he was bald, but it helped him grow his hair back.
His hair back.
Yeah. Yep.
Same thing with Elon Musk, by the way. Both men who have been inside Amber Heard. Heard what?
Is she
Heard
made
the
of
truth.
adrenochrome?
Pussy like adrenochrome.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they do it and they trip out. I would play the clip, but of course, you know.
Yeah. I'll have to watch the movie. I feel like I've seen it, but I could be misremembering. I think I might be confusing it with Blow, which is also Johnny Depp, right?
Yeah, and he does a lot of drugs in that too.
Yeah, I
and
love
Pee
that
Wee
one.
Herman.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Benicio del Toro plays Dr. Gonzo, the guy laying there. He like gained a bunch of weight for this role to play Dr. Gonzo.
Interesting.
And there was an earlier movie where Bill Murray played Hunter S. Thompson, which is, it's interesting how he played it differently. It was more of a comedy. This is, yeah.
That's interesting. You know, what's funny is when I was a kid and I would see Fear and Loathing at the video store to rent, I wanted to rent it because I thought that it was Jim Carrey. And like, you know, there's like the stretchy neck on the cover. I thought it was like a character like The Mask or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mom, I want to see it's a Jim Carrey. She's like, that's not Jim Carrey. I'm like, no, it's Jim Carrey. Like, I swear, I swore it was Jim Carrey and I really wanted to see it. It's a good thing my mom did not give in because I would have been very confused as a child.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like a part where he's like sitting at a bar in Las Vegas and all the people turn into lizard people. It's just him like super high, tripping out and freaking out for the entire movie.
That's relatable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's...
I would freak out. I'm a lightweight.
Oh, yeah.
And a pussy.
I used to be able to hang with that kind of stuff when I was younger, but now I just feel different on it. I had some shrooms and I tried to stream on shrooms one time and I was just like, I was alone and that was the problem. It was just me like streaming to people that I can't see. And the fact that they were out, that I knew people were watching me freaked me out for some reason.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I didn't like it.
Oh,
it was
man.
like uncomfortable.
Yeah, you didn't have like somebody else to bounce ideas.
Exactly.
And, like keep you grounded and yeah. See, I'm like a hypochondriac and I haven't smoked weed in like probably 6 months. I get paranoid. Not all the time. It depends. Like if I have like indica or a hybrid, it's not as bad, but yeah. So I'm not the type of person who should be experimenting.
Yeah, I would say if you don't enjoy it, it's not even worth the times where it's not bad and you enjoy it. Like if the majority of the times you have like a panic attack or something on it, it's not even worth it.
I don't even get paranoid. My body just shuts down. I can't talk. I can't move or think really. I can kind of move, but I have to focus to just move. Like one time I was on weed and I took a Xanny bar too at my cousin's house. And it took me like 8 hours to stand up to go to bed. It was so fucked. I don't like that shit. It's always edibles that fuck me up. I think more, not always. Sometimes smoke fucks me up too, but edibles get me a lot.
Edibles are so different.
Sucks. Edibles fuck me up. I become an edible vegetable.
Yeah, I didn't smoke for a very long time because it was like, I don't know, like 2014. I took a fat bong rip and it like burned the fuck out of my throat and I had the worst panic attack ever. So I don't think I smoked for like a year after that and then I was fine for a while. But it just depends on like if I'm high anxiety and stuff or whatnot. But yeah, I get like super paranoid and it sucks because I like smoking, but you know, that's the way she goes, I guess. Once my anxiety levels go back down.
Yeah, the craziest for me is when I get really high if I'm like already drunk. That's a crazy feeling. Like super drunk and super high at the same time. That can make the room spin sometimes.
I do better if I'm drinking when I smoke. If I just smoke, I'll probably get anxiety, I'll be a little bit paranoid, but if I'm drinking, I'm usually more balanced out.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it depends.
If you're too drunk, it does not help. If you're like really trashed and then you get high, it does not help at all.
Yeah, although I'm like the biggest lightweight ever for alcohol, so it doesn't take a lot. Like I could have 3 drinks and get pretty drunk, not drunk, but like pretty buzzed. You know what I mean? I can feel pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I think we're probably gonna wrap it up. Thanks for coming on, Mike.
Yeah, anytime. Always fun talking with you both. Always have a good time. It was really nice catching up with you both.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, we love having you here.
Yeah, I'll be in touch with you in like
Absolutely.
a couple months here. Maybe we'll have you on again in a few months.
For
if you're
sure.
free.
Yeah. Yeah, anytime.
All right.
Well, take it easy.
Yeah, you too.
will.
And we'll see everyone back again coming up here on Thursday. Good night, everybody.
Take care.
Tenths classic episode. Thanks, Ben and guests.
Thank you. I didn't stop streaming yet, but a dono came in and we appreciate it. All right, now we're going for sure.
In the beginning, there was nothing. And then there was the Drunken Peasants Podcast.
Drunken Peasants. Drunken Peasants. Drunken Peasants. Drunken Peasants. From the strangest corners of the internet, gonna get TP'd by Billy and Ben. You know where you can find them at. Get ready, cause they're gonna kick your... Drunken Peasants. Drunken Peasants. Drunken Peasants. Drunken Peasants.